how's it going? It's me, GoldenNova, the guy who managed to wake up from his giant coma after streaming for an unhealthily long time. How is everyone doing this fine Friday? Seeing a lot of suggestions so far that I'm liking. Okay, so while I'm waiting for some responses from the audience, yeah, so we're going to watch History of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like we do normally, just as a bit of a starter, and then, yeah, once we're done, I'll take some examples, I'll throw in, like, 4 of them that I like, and then we'll vote on which of those 4 we're going to write tonight. Make it a Rickroll? Absolutely not. In fact, I'm going to take this time to, regale you with a tale of what happened during the stream. So, it must have been after midnight, I was playing Omori, and halfway through, I'm like, I need to rest. My eyes are killing me. I need to go lay down. So I turn the stream off for 30 minutes, go down, lay down, take a nap. I wake up. I've got an email from YouTube saying that there's a copyright strike on the stream. And I'm like, well, what's going on? What did I do? It turns out that the Rickroll that we played in Discord triggered the copyright strike. So let that be I'm making a long-standing note for everyone here, so everyone's on the same level. If you Rickroll me, I will be very sad. I will leave it as soon as possible. And, I will be very unhappy. So, now that story's out of the way. What is the latest one? Oh, no. No, it's not History of... No, it is History of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm thinking of History of Jank as the other one. No, we're watching the, one with Pot of Avarice on the front. Pot of Duality on the front. Felt like a Twitch ban that guy moment. No, real! It's real stuff! Real mood! It was not the kind of news I wanted to see while I was trying to get back into a headspace after being sleep deprived. I'll tell you that much. Which Rickroll? Honestly, I didn't check. I saw that it happened. I went to the video. I had it run the mute, which is kind of a moot point because I decided to unlist all of the stream videos anyway. So, yeah, that was funny. So, let's go and watch some History of Yu-Gi-Oh! Get those ideas bubbling up, and we'll get to writing in just a bit. Let's go ahead and put a hold on Golden Song. That's muted. I have no idea. Honestly, it doesn't matter because it's a stream. So, like, it's not like A, I make much money off of it, or B, I'm known very much for my streams. This is I feel like this is very much kind of like a, you know, icing on top of the cake type deal. So, getting copyright claim. And I didn't get a strike. That's the important part. No, YouTube didn't be all like, this is like 1 out of 3 strikes. It was just a claim. Easily solved. Nothing, no big issue. Okay, let's go ahead and crack open some delicious Simo goodness.
Duelist Revolution was released on August 17th, 2010. Notable cards in this set include Effect Veiler, Pot of Duality, and Solemn Warning. Additionally, a new ban list went into effect on September 1st, 2010. Rescue Cat, Substitute, Brain Control, Heavy Storm, and Temple of the Kings were now banned from competitive tournament play. Black Whirlwind, Infernity Launcher, Monster Reborn, and Royal Oppression were all now limited to 1 copy each. Chaos Sorcerer, Duloran Tiger King of the Ice Barrier, Snipe Hunter, Mystical Space Typhoon, Magic Cylinder, and Ojometrio were all now semi-limited to 2 copies per deck. And
Simo explained.
Cyber Dragon, Goblin Zombie, Treeborn Frog, United We Stand, and
Ooh, Chemicritters, that'd be cool too.
Limited to 3 copies. In this series, both MDT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want 5% off any singles or sealed product, click the affiliate links in the description and use code SIMO5.
Do it!
Player affiliate link before you shop. Help support us to provide you with more amazing
Get
content.
the product!
Well, I don't know what you expected from that last one. I appreciate the free win. Thanks, Alex. So we've endured the worst that the Shining Darkness has to offer, and it is time for a ban list. After Worlds, Konami bans on September 1st a multitude of cards, including but not limited to Rescue Cat, Power
Hero Beat?
Substitute, completely neutering Frog FPK, and limiting Black
Hero
Whirlwind,
Beat,
which
let's
makes
go.
Black Wings a much less powerful strategy.
I hate this deck. Let's go.
Hilarious. As a result, the new format that people experienced, the Championship Series in San Jose in September, was a lot lower power than the previous ones. It allowed some weaker decks the room to breathe, as evidenced by the deck that won the whole thing, Gemini. This is Angel Flores' list, and it's really something. It had to contend with all of the decks that had been hit in the previous ban list. In fact, in the top 8 of this tournament represented are X-Saber, Blackwing, Quick Draw, Dandy Warriors, Next Stage in Evolution,
I hope you lose.
Alex,
I hope you lose so quickly.
Now, it's no secret that the Geminis are one of Konami's biggest design mistakes. Normal summoning a monster twice means that you are not only able to not get any of its really powerful effects until the next turn, but you are also going to really minus yourself on tempo if that monster gets removed. The way that Konami dealt with it in the past is by making the monsters recoup that loss immediately. Stuff like, Gigaplant activating its effect with priority could be a removal spell, for instance. But Gemini Spark is another fantastic way to do so. This allows you to tribute a face-up level 4 Gemini monster and then target one card on the field, destroy it, and draw a card. It cycles itself and a Gemini monster for a pop card and a card in your hand. That monster does not have to have been normal summoned already, so you can activate this on any board state ever. Gemini Spark, Elemental Hero Neo's Alias,
so
and
efficient.
Hero Blast would form a cornerstone of a really, really powerful synergistic engine that was found in many decks for the next couple of years, culminating in Bubble Beat in about 2013. But this was the first time the strategy really saw any sort of extremely consistent success. Now, there were a couple of different variants of even this build. Some people played Miracle Fusion and Absolute Zero, but Angel decided to play a newly released card, Pot of Duality. For those of you not playing at the time, Pot of Duality was one of the most highly sought-after cards in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Everyone was playing it, including people who should not have been playing.
I remember when Pot of Duality came out. No, let me track this back. I remember when Pot of not Pot of Avarice. The one that everyone says is -9. Why am I so bad with names right now? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I remember when that came out and everyone was talking about how bad it was, and I immediately had flashbacks to the Pot of Duality talk, because everyone was, well, not everyone, a bunch of people at locals were all like, it's not even that good, it stops your special summons. What's the point of selecting one card if you can't even do follow-up plays? And, they were swiftly proven wrong.
Because many people read that downside and said, who cares? I'm able to draw a card. And as a result, you're going to see it in a lot of lists that are going to make you scratch your head. But this one is not one of those. At its core, this is a stun list that uses powerful 1900 attack monsters like Elemental Hero Neo's Alias and Doom Caliber Knight to get beneficial trades, and then follows it up with cards like Gemini Spark to deal with problem monsters. The fact that it also gets to play a sick trap lineup in Bottomless Trap Hole, Dimensional Prison, Solemn Warning, Torrential Tribute, and Hero Blast is just the icing on the cake. In the side, we've got Consecrated Light for Blackwing, we've got Fossil Attack Acephalon for plants, we've got Nobleman of Crossout, Super Polymerization, Double System Down for gadgets, Double Goddess Emergency Call for X-Saber, Mind Crush, Royal Oppression, and Starlight Road. Now, Starlight Road was way more powerful this format than the previous one. While it could no longer deal with Heavy Storm, it could now deal with Dark Hole, which was recently limited as well. So, happy to show this off. Let's just go through the cards real quick. We've got Banisher, Double Sidra, Double Doom Caliber, Double Veiler, Triple Alias, 1 Stratos, 1 Gores, Double Honest, Double Thunder King Ryo, really strong against a majority of the format. Allure of Darkness, Double
God,
Wolf,
Ryo's so
Triple Gemini Spark,
good.
Monster Reborn, MST, Nobleman, Triple Pot of Duality.
Desires, it was Desires, yes. Thank you.
We've already been to the side. The extra is 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. This is just for gadgets. We are playing Cyber's main. 1 Cyber Twin Dragon. Theoretically, if you use Super Polymerization, go to this. If you ever get 2 Cydras on your side of the field, that seems unlikely. Dragon, Knight, Draco, Ekest. There are some scenarios where this happens. If your opponent ends on a very powerful Dragon Synchro monster, you can Super Poly into this using something like a Neo's Alias, and the card itself is pretty strong. We've got Ab-Zero, we've got Gaia, we've got Caster, Black Rose Dragon, Brionac, Lamvel, Goyo Guardian, Magical Android, Midland, and 2 copies of Starless Dragon there with Double Starlight Road. So, excited to try this out? You know I'm a sucker for Hero.
You know, I sort of voluntarily decided to adorn the shirt of shame for this episode because when I approached Joseph and said, hey, why don't you play Frog FDK for
Plant
this episode?
Synchro.
Yeah, you can imagine that things didn't exactly go the way that I had planned, but nonetheless, we had to show off the deck, and I think the Frog FDK X-Saber matchup was actually
I'd still take this over Hero Beat any day of the week. I hope Simo wins this
and
one.
a new ban list is in effect. Rescue Cat's gone, Heavy Storm is gone, Brain Control is gone. We actually lose a lot of just...
Ren, I assure you, I see your Spirits Explained request. We'll get to it when we finish. It's okay.
Very strong power cards that were in the previous format, and we also have the release of Duelist Revolution. And some new cards that set introduced are Pot of Duality and, of course, Solemn Warning. So we are going to be bringing Plant Synchro to today's episode of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! This looks very reminiscent of the Quick Draw Dandy Warrior deck that we saw Joseph pilot a few episodes ago, and there are a lot of similarities, but this is a different take on the deck for the time. We're going to be taking on Joseph's Hero.
I see but don't hear. Okay, so please tell me this does not mean that this has all been muted this entire time and I've been staring at a blank screen. It's happened before. You heard what I said about Desires, so clearly you hear me. But do you hear the broadcast? I'm not going to go until I get a response. I need to... Okay, cool. Then we're just going to go.
Going to be playing, and so let's go ahead and do the card by card. First up, we have Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind. The thing is with this deck, even though it is sort of a synchro-focused deck, you just have a lot of good stuff cards that you're playing in here, right? Like cards like Ryko, Snowman Eater, Debris Dragon, Sang, like all these cards just...
It's the speed. Okay, that's the joke. Got it.
This is also what makes this deck so powerful. And so while this may not be indicative of like Plant Synchro in 2011, once we get to Reborn Tengu, which is a vastly different beast, you're still going to just see a lot of just very strong standalone cards, which is what made this deck so good for the coming months. So we got Gale here just because it's good as being a tuner, as well as being able to cut down size. Triple copies of Caius. I mean, Caius just doesn't go anywhere anytime soon, just because of how strong of a card this is in the format. One card trooper, we want to load up a lot of stuff in the graveyard because we're playing double Pot of Avarice, and we want to hit stuff like Dandelion as well just to trigger that effect. I can't believe Dandelion is still like at this number of playable copies just because how broken this card is, but here we are. Paired with the 3 copies of Debris Dragon. I mean, Debris Dragon plus Dandelion equals a Black Rose Dragon that leaves you with tokens, so that's pretty strong. We're also playing Jinzo in this deck just because there is some decks that are running around at this point, like Blackwing, like Gadget. And so having this Jinzo kind of in favor of like another Monarch or something, Jinzo can just shut everything down and make sure that your plays go through. We've got 2 Lone Fire Blossom to go with our Plant Engine. We've got 3 copies of Raikou just as general removal. A Sangan can search most of the deck, and 2 Snowman Eater kind of falling in line with the Raikou, but has a much larger.
This is a really good deck.
Attack. We can be distributed for a Caius or a Jinzo or Synchro off for a Synchro play. We've also got Spore as well. Spore is just a nice little tuner that we can have access to in our little plant package. We have a super nimble Mega Hamster to get to our Raikou, and 1 Titanial Princess of Camellias. This in tandem with the Dandelions is just nasty, and I hope we get to show this off because this card is so powerful. That's it for the monsters though. For the spells, Double Book of Boom, a Cold Wave. Dark Hole is actually legal again. This was forbidden, but this came off the list in exchange for some of the cards that we lost. Mind Control is fantastic in a Synchro format. Monster Reborn is also legal again in this format, so that's also pretty cool to see. MST, Double Pot of Avarice, and 1 of the newly released Pot of Duality. Now, this may seem a bit weird playing in a Synchro-focused deck that wants to special summon a ton, but these decks don't play, you know, to the pace that you know modern Yu-Gi-Oh plays, right? So you can just go turn 1 Duality, maybe just get some setup with like.
The viewer needs to be even faster. If I could, I would.
Force Ring, Mass Removal, Solemn Judgment, just kind of our answer to anything, and Solemn Warning in here as well. Such a powerful card. We're going to be seeing a lot of this moving forward. Double Threatening Ward actually just get protected from getting OTK because there are some decks that are capable of putting a ton of damage on the board. So I kind of like this in this deck. A Torrential Tribute just to clean things up, and 2 copies of Trap Sun. This is similar in line to the Jinzo theory because Trap Sun can turn off everything like the Judgments and the Warning preemptively. If you have the way to go for game or clean up the board with something like a Black Rose Dragon, that is just a great way to be able to turn things back around. The extra deck is the usual offenders. Black
All
Rose
the
Dragon
cats,
from limited
nice.
to semi-limited, which gave this deck a bit more validity just because now you don't have to constantly recycle the 1 Black Rose Dragon with Avarice. You have a second one available to you. So again, this deck actually got better in some ways as a result of the ban list. We have some Blackwing Synchros in here as well, and again, everything else up to this point we've already seen. For the side deck, we've got a couple consecrated like for our Dark Focus matchups. We have 2 DD Crow, this is generic banishing removal in the graveyard. 2 Thunder King Ryo, this is just a nice card that we can swap in depending on the matchup. We have a Mystical Space Typhoon, double system down for Machine Focus decks, which we're not going to be playing because we already know Joseph is playing. 2 copies of Chivalry, this is a new card. Take counter trap, activate only during the battle phase when the effect of an opponent's effect monster is activated, negate the activation, and destroy that card. This is a card that gets hyped from time to time, but back in the day, I mean, this was a pretty decent card. We also have another crevice into the different dimension for graveyard. Hey, 2 Light
Yeah, I think people would run that to counter Gladiator Beast, which is why I was very upset.
Guys, this is gonna be a really fun episode. I can't wait to see how it plays out. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to duel. Joseph, so I don't know if you read any of the coverage of SJC San Jose, which is like technically like where we're at for History of Yu-Gi-Oh, but the final piece of like the blog was maybe the greatest piece of marketing material ever because it says Angel Torres won because of his triple Pot of Duality.
It's a bunch of good terminal montage video.
I don't know if I would attribute it exactly to that, but you can't deny that they help.
We're already at D-Rev, right? Like it just seems like time is flying by now in History of Yu-Gi-Oh, and now we get to introduce some of like the most staple cards in like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe not like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, but we see these cards for like the next like 10 years, you know?
MBT just walks in and goes, "Hiya!"
They're gonna be playing that Pot of Duality.
Yeah, I mean, fair. They're very influential cards at the very least. Duality, Warning, Draco Knight, Equest, you know, just some of the cream of the crop cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. This will be a fun matchup though. I get to take a crack at the Plant Synchro deck for the first time. You're playing one of your all-time favorites, which is any variant of Hero, which, you know, you're welcome, by the way. But I'm excited. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Calling this Plant Synchro is kind of like calling...
I'm looking at this, and I'm showing that I am just completely covering up Mr. Simo's face, and I couldn't rob you of that now, could I? Let's go ahead and we're gonna move that right there and see if that fixes that up.
You know, Gage's channel, a nice vlog experience. You know, like, it does a bit of a disservice to the concept of Plant Synchro. The deck does become a lot better in the future, but as is, people are starting to realize that Spore is an exceptionally unfair card. And I'm excited to see how unfair it looks in this set.
Absolutely, yeah, I was tempering people's expectations. I said, this is not 2011 Plant Synchro, don't get too excited.
You'll see a lot more of a lot of the cards in here.
I can imagine. But, buddy, I'm ready if you are. Let's shout out the patron. It is Andrew Vincent. Thank you so much for the support. You got the number up for me?
Oh, I've got the number.
Okay, I'm gonna go with odd.
It's 2. Because I'm going to summon 2 times, baby!
Oh, God. All right, well, congratulations. And your deck 100% wants to go first. This is going to be heavily in your favor.
Not only does my deck want to go first, you can't punish me anymore. There's no more Heavy Storm in the format.
Heavy Storm is gone. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be very happy to see that that's the case. But we have other stacky cards in the format, too.
That we do. I'm going to begin with Reinforcement of the Army. And we're going to grab our only target worth getting, Elemental Hero Stratos.
There's the boy.
Hey!
Uses effect to get an Elemental Hero Neos Alias to hand.
I also loved in the article coverage, they referred to this deck as Gemini. They really wanted to just sell this as best they could.
Yeah, I would not call this Gemini, but hey, you know, whatever floats your boat. In fact, instead of the old program, they were talking about it and a later iteration called Miracle Gemini, which replaced the dualities with Miracle Fusion, and people were so mad. They were
so
like,
how's every normal and LOB going?
In all fairness,
I already made that. It's the April Fool's joke from 2 years ago.
I'll draw. You got anything to stand by for me, buddy?
You're really sleeping on super LOBs rapacious. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, excuse me. I'll go to main phase 1, and I think I am just going to go
good pull, Sam. That cracks.
Set 3. Go ahead, buddy.
Feels good to be doing this. All right, I'm going to stand by main.
Value.
New card, PogChamp. All right, we're going to start with a copy of Nobleman of Crossout targeting yourself.
Oh, shit.
You didn't say your damn buddy, did you?
Oh, wow, I have to think about this now.
You know, Solemn Judgment. It's not bad.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I am actually going to solemn this. No lie.
I'll take that shit.
Yo.
Yeah, I bet you will. Okay, no craziness going on this time, but that's pretty sick. Pretty good.
We'll take the Gemini Spark.
Of course. I know you're just itching to get off that Hero Blast, buddy.
Kind of am. I'm going to normal summon an Elemental Hero Neos Alias, and I'm going to battle phase.
I will Threatening Roar.
Okay. Second main, I'm going to set 1 card.
Oh, I'd love to talk about cloth armor.
I didn't say go to main 1 then, and
I need that archetype printed right now. It's so cool.
Okay,
see, that's like way less problematic than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw the rest of my hand, it's not looking great with the way things are shaping. So I will go ahead. So you have Gemini Spark. Gemini Spark tributes for cost, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's going to be pretty worthless then. I suppose I will just target the Stratos, because, I mean, you're going to be able to Spark anyway, so there's really no point.
I'm actually not even going to Spark. We're going to bottomless here.
Oh, perfect. So that brings that is fine. So then I get my Sangan Search as well here, and with it, I think we're going to grab... I think we'll go with a Super Nimble Mega Hamster.
Sure.
It's an okay one. So I know you still have the Spark set, which isn't particularly Great. I also have to consider the fact that I could die next turn, considering I paid half my life to protect the Sangan.
I was gonna say that song's really coming in handy for me, buddy.
Yeah, I bet. Again, if you saw the rest of my hand, it would not be looking good if that Sangan died, so I'm feeling okay about it.
Might
Alright,
have been a bit of an overprotection.
Go to standby main. I'll activate emergency calls. Go get another Neos Alias.
One of the best things about heroes, you always have rotos.
Okay, now I have to decide. What's that set card? I don't know, and I don't care. Normal summon Neos Alias. I'll go to combat. Attack.
I'll take 19.
I'll attack again.
I will book the Neos Alias.
Sure, that's fine. Second main, I will set a card. You're good to go.
Alright, end phase, I'm going to space what I hopefully assume is
Okay.
a
Dark Arm Dragon.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
Alden,
second
thank you
line
for the $5. Imagine if Konami will create a make your own monster card app or website or a contest. That'd be nifty. I'd be down with that. Let's petition them to do create a card again, but like better.
And my turn. Main phase 1. Alright, I'm going to run out a
Nova
Lone Fire
lore
monster.
explained, yes.
Okay.
And with Cryo, we're going to sack him off. Let's grab another Lone Fire.
Also fine.
I will sack this one off. And
Thorn
here
Prisoners.
I
I've never
sort
heard of that. I need to look that
think
up
I'm
when we're
gonna grab
done.
a Dandelion.
That sounds right.
And then I'm just going to set one in pass. Go ahead.
This Kai is banished, right?
From the bottom was correct. Yes, there we go.
I got Avarice on my line. Alright, end step, I'm gonna MST the set card.
Sure. It was torrential. Got me.
Okay. Stand by main.
All good.
Wow, that's rough. Alright, I'll flip summon Alias. I will normal Alias, and let's go to combat, I suppose.
Gang's all here, so you're just going to kill a token, I imagine?
Yep.
Yep.
Go
Dandelion summons 2, you hit 1, and let's hope I get a sick draw. And it doesn't look like I did. I will set and set. Go ahead.
Stand by main. Oh my god. The normal Doom Caliber Knight.
Oh, that's pretty sick. Oh my
Yo!
god.
Combat. We'll go Doom Cal into the set monster.
That's so good.
It's
Oh
not
my
bad.
God.
It's not a
That's
bad draw.
so disgusting. Yep. All right. So then Doom Cal mandatory effect will negate the flip effect of the Mega Hamster. So he goes, but I don't get my search, which is pretty bad.
Alright, we'll try
Token
to get
gone,
it.
and then you'll get the 19. Can you close it up?
I can't. Nope.
How are the cards? Oh,
Uh-oh.
that's interesting.
What's the interesting part?
Ah,
Give me a second.
well,
I'll let you know soon.
have
It
you
keeps me
sparked
alive, so I
yet?
guess we gotta go for it. I'm gonna trap stun.
Oh, okay. Alright, I'm in.
Run out Debris Dragon. Trigger the effect.
Oh, you're gonna go into Black Rose.
Yeah, and then it's gonna get stopped by fucking Book of Moon. So let's see it.
It's actually gonna stop right now. I'll veil your debris dragon.
Oh, even better. All right. Good game. Good game. Was it really worth paying 4,000 life points? to
Fresh,
save
I missed
Sandman
that.
In retrospect, I don't know.
Monarchs
God,
Explained. That'd be kind of fun.
Stratos like double alias Gemini Spark.
Yeah,
Like
that was a weird open for sure. None of my monsters actually did anything, but they did have 1900 attack. That one was
you know,
a
that's
that was
that's
a
good
deck
enough.
for History of Jank, where I
Person would like to never deal with
that.
create a card
Apparently.
again.
Let's hope this one's a little bit cleaner.
I don't know about this.
I don't either. Good luck, buddy. We'll go to main 1. All right, I'm just gonna run out Ryo and pass.
Alright, stand by main. I'm gonna run out Cyber Dragon.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Sick. I'm gonna normal Banisher of the Radiance. Combat.
Gross. All right, so I take 2 and 16, so 18 total.
We're gonna set 1 and go ahead.
All right, this was fun.
Simo,
Really see
come
this,
on. I
playing
ask
out too
so
well.
little of you. You can't let Hero Beat
Dark Hole is legal again.
win.
Dark Hole is legal again, and that would help
For
out.
me,
I will summon
personally.
Uphill battle's right. Let's go ahead and Nobleman cross out your set.
Oh my god, yeah, alright, there goes the Mega Hamster.
That's a good one. You playing a second copy of that one, buddy?
No, not actually, just the one.
Alright, you're gonna have to take my word for it. I'm not playing one either. Let's normal fucking Fossil Dyna.
Oh my god, he's just like on stun.
I hope you don't have Boars. It's gonna be pretty bad here.
Alright, anyone's game. Dark Hole. Jesus Christ. Alright, I'm going to set one and pass.
You can't card
Stand
trooper
by main. Equal
because
at
the
top.
Vanisher.
Go grab Stratos and Neos Alias. We'll banish this E-Call,
I'm
and
done.
that was
I'm
fun.
done.
That was a good one, yeah. I see how this deck won the entire event. This, how are you supposed to beat this?
Even like if you didn't actually summon Stratos, I wasn't dead here because then I could have popped whatever. I would pop Banisher and then Dino would have hit me for 12, so I'd be on 100. And I swear to God, this is the dark. Okay, well that makes me feel a little bit better. But yeah, my hand was just all monsters. It was Debris Dragon. It was, like, I guess I could have played. But it wasn't really that good. Dandelion. It's just like all shit that like.
I'm
needs to be,
getting
like, in the
war
game.
flashbacks.
Yeah, it's
yeah, this was
oh, and you had warning too. Anyway, yeah, because like, I was thinking like, okay, like Lone Fire to potentially get to like Titanial's kind of cute, but then that loses to warning. So I'm like trying to like stem the bleeding a little bit before I commit to that, and then oh my god, you're like honest anyway too. So like
Everything about this is so familiar.
Oh, right, yeah,
And
but yeah, but let's do it.
not just the Gemini Spark. The Gemini Spark's the big thing. Running into Solemn Warning was the most depressing thing when playing Gladiator Beasts. It was the biggest say no to fun button I've ever seen, and
game 3 really
it
quick.
viscerally
I'm
upset
sure.
me.
I'm sure. I want to always try to redeem myself after that one. That was pretty bad. I guess I'll take first. And you know, I'd say good luck, but clearly you don't need it in this matchup.
The first game I drew all the hero cards. The second game I just drew floodgates, and sometimes that's good enough.
You know, sometimes it is. And this hand looks a little bit better, so I'm just gonna set 3 and pass. Go ahead.
Alright, we're gonna Rhoda first things first.
Sure. If I would have had like maybe some other cards in my hand besides Pot of Avarice that were green, that could have maybe helped me out here. Yeah, that's fine. Yep.
Next up is gonna be Pot of Duality.
Sure.
Oh my fucking
Ooh.
god, I'll take it.
Looks good. The course isn't exactly as good when I know about it.
Yeah, one of those weird ones. This could go very poorly for me. I'll go in.
It's a Ryko, so it's gonna go slightly poorly for you.
Maybe I should have gone for Sidra here. Maybe I should have gone for Gores. Wow, you milled nothing. Holy shit. That was like the best things I could have possibly seen you mill.
Pretty bad for me.
No longer have to fear Heavy Storm. Wow, is this what playing progression versus gauge is like? Go ahead, buddy.
Sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared of Nobleman after you just like eviscerated me the last 2 games, so I think I'm gonna normal summon Dandelion.
That is not even that ridiculous of a play. If you played a lot of Edison, Nobleman is so killer against any deck with Dandelion in it. Sometimes you gotta be like, I'm not gonna even run the risk of losing to knock my Dandy. So we'll just go for an alias here. I'll go to combat. I'll try it out.
It's okay, no, but
16.
he's a smaller YouTuber. He's probably too afraid to interact with you and
Yu-Gi-Oh!
probably embarrass
Yep,
himself.
I'll sack
Okay, here's something. Here's a big joke.
And
A big tip. I'm more afraid of interacting with you than you are with me.
Second main,
Let's put that out there. I'm a tiny baby.
You don't want to do anything about this. Cryo in hand.
Tiny baby boy,
That was
man.
actually the punishment play that I'm considering now, which is
Union
Cryo, attack
Explained,
monster, damage, step on.
Nightmares Explained. That'd be an
Alright, so
easy
I take
video.
19 here.
Go ahead.
draw.
I do that in a
Go to main
heartbeat.
One. Didn't consider Honest was a possibility.
There's a lot of light targets in this deck. It's also weirdly on a Lure of Darkness with like 4 darks in the entire list. But Honest makes a lot more sense. You have a million ways to find Alias, you have a million ways to find Thunderkin.
Yeah, let's Dark Hole.
Wow, that's rough. Starlight Road?
Let's go ahead and Reborn.
Ooh, targeting.
I kind of want to go after my Caius, but I also kind of want to take your Thunder King just because it stops you from searching.
Roll's pretty good.
Bruh.
Let's make it bigger. I'll take the Thunder King.
Sure. I'll just expedite this for you. Let's bottomless that card.
Sure, that's fine. Then I will set one and throw it over.
Stand by main. Oh, wow. I was really hoping you wouldn't set one. I have the lethal line, but that has to not be anything relevant.
It's Card Trooper. I couldn't summon this and attack you, unfortunately, because
Thank you.
any beater just finished me off there. Main one, I will set and let's see. I guess I'll set a pair.
Wow.
And we'll throw it over. Go ahead.
Morphing Jar when? I guess I could play around Morphing Jar by doing this. Let's walk in.
It is a Raikou.
That's terrible. Target?
Gonna go after Dailies.
That's a good one. Back to you, buddy.
That on the mills. Do you need to top into a monster? All right, fuck it. I'll run
Nah.
over. Sure. Hit for 13.
I'm gonna Dimensional Prison here.
And he's gone. Go ahead.
All right. E-Call.
Jeez.
The third Alias. One of 8 monsters. There's the third Alias.
Okay.
Wow.
Threatening Roar. We're still in it. That's pretty
Oh, yeah, that's a decent one. That was okay. Yeah, that's a decent
That's fine. All right.
Shuffle
all
'em
right,
up,
cool. I think I
shuffle
wanna
'em
set
up.
back. I guess I want to keep Dandy Engrave. I'll put back
GoldenNova confirmed
Raikou,
spider.
Raikou,
That's
Hamster,
true.
And
This is a tough one. You really
Sure, I
want
personally
to
have
reduce
Pat
monsters.
head on
Yeah.
Nova IRL. Trust me, I would never lie. Never,
You can
never.
do any number of battle traps.
I think Card Trooper.
Corbinism is a
I really don't want to draw a tribute. All right. Let's see what
is a first
okay. I will.
first degree
Knock.
witness
That was
for
good.
any
Knock.
information you could ever
Knock.
want.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm
All right.
gonna take Spark.
Seems good.
Okay, now if I Spark into a monster, I win.
It's not worth it though.
If that card is a Raikou, then I'm fucked. Yeah, I'm gonna Spark into your monster.
It is Dandelion.
I have been punished. Oh, it gets better.
Oh, even better. Did you get the dark?
I did not.
Did not. Double
Good.
late. Okay.
I'll play this
we'll
one a little
draw.
fast and loose.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You've already won, so you got nothing to lose at this point. This is actually kind of cool. I can do this. I'm gonna Cold Wave.
Ooh, that's not cool at all. Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna normal summon Lone Fire Blossom.
Yep.
I'm gonna
All
tribute
right.
the token
Yep.
to summon a Lone Fire
Oh.
Blossom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tribute the token. I'm going to summon Titanial.
Yep. This is a ton.
I'm gonna, yeah, it's not bad. We get in for what, 1,038 here. Second main, I'll set one. Go ahead.
Ooh, not under Cold Wave, you won't.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. Cold Wave.
Not what I wanted to see.
Is
Draw.
there like
Now, not
another
under Cold
plane
Wave
could
anymore.
go into with
So
Lone
the
Fire?
question is, can we just wrap this one up? What other plans do we have? There's a few. I am going to put my Lone Fires to defense, and I'm just gonna go to battle hit with Titanial.
I'll book here.
I will chain Titanial.
And you've got it.
All right, cool. So,
Oh,
we got
wow,
the,
okay,
kind of a
cool.
better representation that game, I think, of these decks playing against each other, not the
A win.
massacre that was the game two that you just demolished me.
No, yeah, these decks were set. It's so interesting that this plant deck was still being played. The version you have does not have Quick Draw Warrior, or it doesn't have any of the Synchron plays. The only really avenue to Synchro summoning is Spore, and obviously Spore is super accessible.
Okay.
Deck that has like Fire Blossom. But at the same time, it is a whisper of the plant Synchro that we're going to see in a little bit in the coming months as stuff like Reborn Tengu comes out. Right now, it just kind of smacks of Plant Monarch, right?
All right, cool. So I'll listen to that later. But yeah, that was very painful to sit through. But you know, that's the life of someone who has to deal with one of the most ridiculously put together decks in the format. So here's what we're gonna do. Phase 1 is going to involve me going through chat and picking 4 archetypes that we want to talk about. Now, they do have to fit into some margins for me to pick them. Obviously, they can't be something huge, like 80 cards or something, because we'll be here all day. It also can't be anything that's currently up for vote on the Patreon. I noticed someone said Lunalight earlier, but that is currently on the list to be voted for. And if you didn't know, then make sure to check the description where you can follow the link to my Patreon where you can support me to make some videos and you can pick. And then you can also get access to them early. Fun fact, I actually have, strangely enough, Monday's video is all done. I'm going to be uploading it tonight for patrons so they can view that Saturday. So, you know, there's a... Just put that out there. But it can't be one that I'm currently putting on vote for my patrons. So those two things. Reasonably sized, and it can't be anything that I'm already kind of on the hook for making in a certain way. So, I saw Spirit was one of the big ones. So I'm going to go ahead and make a list here. Spirit. Dark Synchros explained. That would be an interesting one. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and X that out. Someone said Shadal's Battery Man. Oh, no worry, Michael. You're all good. You know, to be fair, I wasn't saying that to out anyone. I was saying that because it gave me a way to talk about myself without feeling like a completely shameful son of a gun. Kevin's asking for Trains. Trains Explained is actually already on the channel. In fact, it's doubly cool because that's one of the ones that I got a guest star on. If anyone's familiar with Peeps Yu-Gi-Oh, moderator for MBT's chat and all-around cool fitness guru, he is in that near the end. So if you want to see Trains Explained, you can go look at it right now. I'm seeing Triamid. I'm seeing Battery Man. Zolkin and Bish Balkan Explained. Might be a few, not as much. I see Witchcrafter. Let's put Witchcrafter on the board here. I see Gusto. Let's put Gusto on the board. Gusto. What else we got? Because I see Artifacts. Artifacts might be fun. Magnet Warriors. Put Magnet Warriors on the board. Magnet Warriors. Hello, everyone who's showing up. Hello to everyone who's saying hello to me. Turtle Guy, creator Keon, Danny Longfellow. Hello. Ulswarm. Ulswarm might be a bit much, but I'll put it on the list. Salamangreat, same thing. Salamangreat, I'll put on the list just to make sure I have it on hand, but it might be too much. Redo Heroes. Also, fun fact, I think you're going to see the re-uploads in the next couple of weeks. I think. Put it out there. Dragoonity, also, I think a bit too much, but there's on the list. Deskbots. Deskbot is in a weird place because I actually did a video when I was first starting. It was like my first birthday video for myself, where I argue that Deskbots is like the best deck for players going from beginner to intermediate. So there's technically a Deskbot Explained on the channel. It's just a really weird format. Reptiland, they got new Bode support. Ooh, that sounds good. Reptiland, might do that. Nordics also got new support. Nordics, okay, that's good for now. I'm gonna do some research on here because I've got Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro all pulled up here. So, like, for instance, let's look up Nordics real quick. So, cards with Nordic in them. That's 32 cards. That's a lot. That's pushing the upper boundaries of what I could do. Let's do Reptiland. I also need to know how to spell Reptiland. Let's just type Medusa and see if it shows up. There we go. Reptilian is 21. That's a little bit more manageable. We can do 21. Super Quant. Super Quant should go on the list. Super Quant, Phantom Knights, Magical Girls. Okay, yeah, let's look at, Ulswarm. Oh yeah, Ulswarm's 42. That's a honking chonker. Salamangreat. 40. Oh god. Dragoonity. Also 40. Magnet Warriors. That can't be more than Magnet Warrior. Okay, 14 cards. 14 cards is definitely in the range that I'm looking for to do stuff like this. Artifact. 17. 17's a good number. Let's do 17 on that. Invoked. Oh, yeah, let's put Invoked on there. You are totally right. Invoke. 15 cards. 15 cards is good. That's, yeah, also. We have to take out MX Saber Invoker, so that's actually 14. So let's put Invoked on the list. Let's check out Quants. There's a lot of things with quantum in the name, but I can't not put them in there. I think there's like 16. 16 Super Quant. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's put 16 for Super Quant. That's 16 for that. I think what I ought to be doing here is I should need to we do have Arrow Mage Explained. I believe Arrow Mage Explained is on the channel. First time joining a live stream. It's nice being here. Well, thanks for joining, Javier. How you? This is definitely different from normal, so I hope you enjoy this weird offshoot that we're doing this evening. Let's go ahead and chat box right there. Webcam capture. Here we go. Let's do this. This is probably way more interesting. The Sphinx archetype. There be some Sphinxes. Let's check out those Sphinxes. There's Andro Sphinx, Cryo Sphinx. Those ones are random Sphinx cards. I'll put her on there. Sphinx. Okay. And that reminds me, let's check out Triamid. See how many Triamids we've got. 9. Boy, that'd be an easy video. That's going on the list just because of how few cards they've got. Battery Man. Nope, that's not spelled right. 16. 16's decent. Pretty decent. And while we're here, I saw Watts a little while ago. Let's put Watts down here. Ooh, 28. That's a lot, though. I expect there to be so many Watts. Novalore has no cards, so it'd be really easy. Gravekeepers. Let's see Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers gotta have a ton of cards, though. Oh, 33. Yikes. Chronom. What about Samorg? You know, I'm going to say we have a lot of things already on the list. Let me go ahead and just consolidate what we have here and see if we have enough archetypes that I want to talk about. That's 30. That's a bit. Checking out all the rest we got on the list. Which crafter? 17. That's nice. Bum ba dum bum bum bum. Gusto. I'm pretty sure Gusto's like a ton, right? 27. Okay, not the worst. I expect it to be like 40 Gusto cards. Okay. Man, this Archetype with 3 cards. It's so easy to do. IDMO, you'd have been called up. Worms. You don't. Oh no, I actually technically haven't done Worms Explained. What do you mean there's 28 Watts? They do nothing, though. They all do the same thing. Look cute. Sous ships would be super easy to do. They are, because that's also one that's already done. So if you want to see Sous ship explained, you can see 2 videos of it, because that's one of the ones that I actually did a follow-up for without having to wait the whole year cycle. Crystron is currently in the patron vote, and Skull Servants, also something that's already been done. See, this is great because you can find out what you're missing out on. Okay, so let me check the list here real quick. Let's see what we got. Get in. Let's go ahead and put the camera back on my face, because otherwise we're going to have to go back to the YouTube screen to me to put the poll up. And that's just going to be like a weird anomaly of space-time. And no one wants weird anomalies of space-time. Actually, one sec. Yu-Gi-Oh! Card database. I'm pretty sure it's going to be too much, but I need to know how many spirit cards there are. Spirit. search. Okay, alone there are 36 spirit monsters, and that would not include any. Here, let's go ahead and it's 36 monsters. I can type spirit into just spell. Okay, that's 1, 2, that's 3 spells that involve spirit cards. 1 trap, Legacy of Yatagarasu counts. Shinobird's Salvation technically counts as it supports spirits. Yeah, that's like 38. So I think spirits is off the board, unfortunately. Okay, okay, poll. What explained should we write? So, I've got Invoked. I'm thinking Super Quant. I'm thinking... what's another one? What's on this list? Invoked, Super Quant, Artifacts. I think Artifacts was pretty cool. Artifacts and Triamid. Let me take another look at this list, see if there's anything I want to change on that. Nope, that's all gravy. Okay, folks. We're going to leave this chat up for, I'm going to say, until 8:40 my time. So we got 4 minutes. Everyone jump in on that vote and let me know what we want to, you know, what we're going to write about tonight. Just blocking my viewership on there. Let me go ahead and relog on to the chat here. Bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum. So while we're voting, here's how I imagine this is going to go. I have a... Actually, let me go ahead and show you the screen while we're here. Let me go ahead and show you the screen while we're here. Okay, so this is the screen. This is the screen. I'm gonna go through my normal writing process. There's generally 3 parts to the video. There's the preamble, there's the explaining, and then there's the outro. That can kind of involve tech cards too. So that's about the 3 sections. We're gonna go through the preamble. We're gonna try and when writing an explained video, an important thing to me is like making sure I form a connection between myself and whatever I'm talking about. Whether or not I'm mentioning that the cards are coming out soon, so we know like temporally where I'm at. Whether it's an archetype that I've enjoyed in the past, or has had some kind of effect on the community. So we're going to try and figure out what our collective backstory is with the archetype that we write about. Once we move on to the body, we're just going to do the wrote part of it. We're going to type out the effects. We're going to write a little bit about the card, what it does, interactions that would be useful, and then we have to end on a very bad pun. The important part is that there's always a very bad joke at the end of every one of these sections. I know that it's subtle. I know very few of you have picked up on it, but trust me, it is the secret sauce that makes the explained videos what they are. And then the outro is just going to be some way to tie all of it together, reaffirm what we've said previously, and then we do our outro. Okay, where is the Oh wow, that is a tight race between Invoked and Artifacts. Holy cow. That's incredible. You know what? No, I said 840. It's gonna be 840. Folks, if you need to swing some votes, get your friends in here. Link the stream. It's go time. Democracy hangs in the balance. So what episode do you plan to subvert the bad pun pattern? It'll be whichever one I decide would be a good idea to have one of the characters from the Novaverse do the video. I don't know what their gimmick is going to be, but that's how it's going to be handled. Okay, here we go. That's everything. So let's go ahead and end the poll. What possible pun can you make with Invoked? Trust me, I'll find a way. All right, and with a third of the votes, Invoked made it. All right, so let's go ahead and Invoked explained. Here we go. So let's go ahead and get this pulled up here. I'm gonna go ahead and pop out chat. Will these other types be made at a later date? Oh, absolutely. Here's the thing. There are people who will ask for certain explained videos to be done. And my answer is always yes, because on a long enough time scale, I hope to cover everything. That being said, what I cover next, how soon it takes me to cover that thing might be a long time. So, everything that we just talked about will get a video eventually, someday in the future. Can't say when, it will happen. But now, we're writing Invoked explained. So, Kill Dragon, each Novaverse has a homestuck troll typing quirk, but it's instead of a typing quirk, it's a script writing quirk. Absolutely. Unless we got a Nova multiverse. Nice. Alrighty, so the classic hello everyone, GoldenNova here. Recently, I promised my audience that I'd invite them to write... Oof. That's going to be uncomfortable. Is there like a way to do wraparound on this thing? I'm not writing off into infinity right now. I need to make sure that I can... Quick, I need all of my WordPad folks to come to my rescue and tell me how to make sure my words don't run off the page. View. Wrap to window. Boom. There we go. We got it. We figured it out. I know how writing works. Let me write that. Da-da-da-da. Welcome to Invoker Explained. Normal summon Alistair will be relevant for like 3 years straight. Let's get into it. Holy crap, it's Alistair the Invoker. Hello, my name is Alan. I'm a demon. Also, I'm one of the most hated engines in Yu-Gi-Oh! Next to full-powered Zodiacs. Just use Google Docs. I don't know. I don't think I like Google Docs, actually. I tried it a couple times, but I just kind of went back to WordPad. Write down first and cut chunks later. Word wrap. Yeah, it's where, like, because sometimes it'll just have it, like, right past the margin, just go into, like, into infinity. Word wrap actually breaks the sentence up, down whenever you hit the edges. Okay, so, hello everyone, GoldenNova here. Recently, I promised my audience that I'd invite them to write an explained video with me on stream. Ignoring the fact that... okay, what's the joke here? Ignoring the fact that having 100 people in the writing room is a good way to derail any sense of structure. Testudo, how do I end here? I just wanted to go to sleep. Anyway, I love your videos. Such a great compromise between comedic and informative. That is what I like to do, so thank you. Creator Keon, one day yeah, actually, let's go ahead and put a I'm seeing this in chat. Let's go ahead and put a stopper in this right now. Let's not do any you know, haha invoked jokes while we're here. Just throwing that out there. It'd mean a lot to me. Creator Keon, one day a young spellcaster in training found a hidden book with text within that could bring forth powerful creatures from different lands. Soon the world will know the name of Alistair the Invoker. And also, Mott, or Matt, Fool, Fool of Prophecy. Say words, make money, the end. Boom. Okay, so ignoring the fact having 100 people in the writing room is a good way to derail any sense of structure, I decided that it couldn't possibly be worse. Worse than what? Worse than what? What's like a really crummy video that I've done that would make like for a good juxtaposition on this? Let me fix some grammar on the fact then. People. Oh, there we go. Da da da. Only worse than this one guy even wanted spirits explode. No, we are not doing spellbooks 2. That would be too much. But I figured that explanation also kind of worked for Fool of Prophecy as well. Okay, I decided that it couldn't possibly be worse than turning into a demon. The older ones? Probably the older ones. Joke about hero videos. Oh, you know what? That's fair. Decided that it couldn't possibly be worse than trying to write an explained video for an archetype with over 100 cards in it. Gen X versus Viacroids. That was fun, though. That wasn't bad. The crushing loneliness of writing alone. Wait, would that be funnier? I decided that it couldn't possibly be worse than... Now, it's definitely funny in a certain situation, but I don't think I could make it funny in this situation. Digital Bugs was a fine video. Explaining Ojamas without making a Rada reference. No, there's definitely worse things than that. Kind of. Then forgetting to repeatedly to change the main face. Okay, that is funny, objectively. I just don't know how I'd wrap it into this. Like, I could use a visual, but I'm not sure if I could communicate it clearly enough. But if I say... write an explained video for an archetype with over 100 cards in it. and I'll leave it up to you to find out which one. And then I can put like an image of Utopia and one of the Heroes videos on there to really sell that situation. After hours of rigorous debate and intense have a part, just a bunch of us yelling. It was a great video, just all over the place in the Archetype. Wait, you know, I'm not gonna have this conversation. Who makes all the puns angry? Digital Bugs remind me that Konami still makes spider monsters and types them as insect. They're impudent in the ways of etymology. I'm Starlight. Now let's find out the books of the law, contract with Faustian demons, and invoke some abominations. Hey, that kind of follows the structure. We could do that. Was it actually about invoked? Yeah. Okay, after hours of rigorous debate and intense discourse, that's good. That's good. There were thankfully minimal casualties, and we ended up with the subject of today's video, Invoked. Released in the... when did Fusion Enforcers come out? Let's look up Fusion Enforcers. Fusion Enforcers. Yugipedia. Fusion Enforcers that are 2017. Okay, there we go. Maybe mentioning the Magicist Explained video, since Crowley is basically an Invoker at one point. Maybe, if we can fit it in. If not, we can always put like a card at the top right, and then I can direct people to it that way. The Gathering is worse because it has the spider type, but some spiders are just insects for some reason. That's bad! Why would they do that? Released in the February 2017. This isn't a deck build pack, right? It kind of is. Did this come out before deck build packs were a thing? It's in the same line as Spirit Warriors and Dark Saviors. Yeah. Because, like, none of the other deck build packs have, like, a character on them. But all these ones were all, like, no, these are, like, character duelist packs. There's, like... It's not, like, a name for these, though, right? It feels wrong calling them a deck build pack. Oh, but it's like the same structure. Because what? Predaplants? Edge Imp support? Invoked. It only came out with like one new archetype, though. So it's not a deck build pack. Booster SP? Yeah, that's what they're called on like, the OCG. And like technically that's what deck build packs are too. But that kind of like explains what the pack does. Booster SP just sounds like a... like what it is, a marketing phrase. You just call us casualties. I mean, it's fair, but still. Did I type minimal casualties? Look, guys, here's the thing. I'm kind of writing... Oh, no, did I type it right? No, I think I typed it right. Anyway. There's going to be a lot of spelling errors. Don't worry. We'll get... The important part is that I say them correctly. have no TCG name. Ah, God, we gotta find a name for it. I hate having these formats of cards that don't have a name for them because it's so much harder to talk about them. Okay, how about this? How about we do this? Released in February 2017, Fusion in the 2017 set Fusion Enforcers. Plus Spirit Wars has same and Dark Sabers have vampires. Okay, that's fair. They're still, I feel like those still count as deck build packs though, because Nephthys didn't have a game plan beforehand, so it might as well have been new stuff. And the Six Samurais, technically it was Six Samurai support, but the new cards were all secret Six Samurai, so I'm still gonna count that as different enough of an archetype. Something funny to say. I'm just keep a background roll. Hey, maybe you'll find some. Wait, Shadows of Valhalla. That was a deck build pack, right? Because that had ninjas, that had Valkyries, and something else. Okay. And it had the Invocation reprint, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay, so Fusion Enforcers was a predecessor to the modern deck build pack, introducing new themes as well as updates to beloved anime archetypes like Raid Raptors and that was Wing Raiders. And Destiny Heroes. In this one, Predaplants and Fright Furs got a fresh coat of paint, but little did they know they were accompanying a theme that would shake the meta for years to come. There we go. I think that's a nice smooth intro on that. Did Shadows of Valhalla reprint all the Invoked stuff and added support to it? I don't think it added. I think it was that the set that had Madness Alistair. I forget. And that OTK Alistair. And a mad Alistair. Make fun of all the misspellings you want. Go ahead. It doesn't mean anything. Michael Nelson, make sure to add a grumble in when mentioning Destiny Heroes. Why would I grumble? Fresh coat of paint is a Nova Theater Kid reference. If you look deep enough in the Nova lore, then you will know that that's everything I say is secretly about the time that I was a theater kid. Okay, so released in February 2017, Fusion Enforcers was a predecessor to the modern deck build pack, introducing new themes as well as updates to beloved anime archetypes like Raid Raptors and Destiny Heroes. In this one, Predaplants and Frightfurs got a fresh coat of paint, but little did they know they were accompanying a theme that would shake the meta for years to come. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Ash Blossom dropped in Shadows of Valhalla. There might have been a reprint, but it was a core set. Shadows of Valhalla brought us Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. Okay, cool. Well, listen, because Burst of Destiny immediately outdated that explained video. Okay, no, I don't think I'll do it for that one because once we get the new Destiny Hero video out, it will include all the Burst of Destiny cards. People were very understanding in the message, and they convinced me that it was okay to go ahead and make the update the Destiny Heroes explained with all the new cards. So all the Burst of Destiny cards will be in the re-released video. Promise. Okay. Ever since Shadal's, fusion spells have had... Fusion effects, just in case. Fusion effects have had to push the envelope further and further to keep competitive with their extra deck contemporaries, and Invocation is the natural extension of that philosophy. So if you had to rank Invoked in terms of power, what would you rank it in today's meta? Well, Mechaba is always is just a negate, generally for monsters, which is what you need them to be. Today's meta, though, I don't know. I think they're like a solid B, if anything. Like, you can't play them pure, obviously, but any deck that doesn't have a normal summon that has decent attributes to support it can just splash Invoked and have cool, like, stuff. Sounds like trauma, but theater do that to you. I heard from a friend. It can be. It can be a bad thing. Whenever someone mentions Shadal's and the Secrets of Eternity, it rolls in my head. Please send help. You're all poisoned, all of you. You know what? Instead of watching the progression series over and over again and having that lodged in your head, you should instead watch the progression poll series. Anyway, I just into that philosophy. By leveraging the graveyard as a resource, ensuring that your fusion effects were always in reach. Well, leveraging the graveyard as a resource, ensuring that your fusion effects were always in reach, and you had a suite of incredible... Wait, what do you mean Invoked is only B? Well, I mean B because, like, if it goes head-to-head with anything by itself, it doesn't have the same kind of, like, repeatability or board presence that most other decks do by itself. Invoked is, by its mechanisms, a support archetype for anything else. So if you're asking my honest opinion, I think Invoked as a pure deck by itself is a B. How it fits into other decks and how it amplifies them using Invoked, that's widely variable. Captain Blitz, don't forget. Oh, Captain Blitz, thank you for reminding me about memely plugging the Discord. Something else you can also find in the description. We talk about stuff. Nobody's playing Invoke by itself, though. Yeah, which is why it's difficult to give it like its own grade. Like, you would have to like talk about Invoked in the context of any other deck that it's in. Like, name a deck. I couldn't it's hard to find a specific one that I had. It's made as an engine and it does its job quite efficiently. It does. It's a very... If we're talking about it as an engine, it's an A. Easy A. Alistair's so pretty, though. It makes up for it. Instant A. Okay, hey. That's a nifty grading criteria. But and I admit, it's a great... As an engine, it's an A. Until now, normal summon Alistair is a statement that let many duelists shiver in fear for the play to come. I will have to say normal Alistair effect at some point, but I need it to be in a spot that is not completely obvious. I need to try and do it in a way that knocks people off guard. Invoke seems like an evolution of Super Poly, specifically being an archetype around using your opponent's resources and fusing it with your own. Yeah, I can see that. Though I think it's a stronger sentence if I connect it to the history of fusion effects in general. That way I'm talking about a universal experience as opposed to a tech card that's used very effectively, but not like but doesn't encapsulate this wider range of cards. Testudo Invoke can be played pure. I'm just saying, they printed Book of the Law and Omega Summon Arts, which are cards that work specifically in like a version of the deck where you are focused on playing invokes. I'm not saying you should, but if we're talking about it by itself, that's what it would get that letter grade. And even B is pretty good when it comes to like archetypes by itself. Like, there are some pure builds that are not good. But even a pure invoke deck, I would still say is good enough to be B. Okay, and a suite of incredible boss monsters. By leveraging the graveyard as a resource, ensuring that your fusion effects were always in reach, and you had a suite of incredible boss monsters to choose from. Merging and having a suite of incredible boss monsters to choose from, Invoked made its mark on the format immediately go over all the lore of Invoked. I think after the Patreon Discord plug section, I think that'd be a good spot to talk about a little bit of the lore. Heroes was the first, actually, because Miracle Fusion. That's true. I hope it doesn't come across as me saying that banishing from the graveyard was something Invocation pioneered, but it's like, it's a searchable spell that does that is recyclable and highly searchable. Like, it's all of those things together that make Invocation like the epitome of a fusion spell. A suite of incredible purple people pushing Power Blast on the opponent. No, you should mention the spellbook lore involving Alistair, maybe in the Algetty's part. I would have to help contextualize what in the heck is going on in that art. So that will likely make an appearance there. Obligatory Duel Links shout out. I will definitely be mentioning Duel Links when it comes to Cositas. Because it didn't really shine in the TCG, but in Duel Links, Cositas is like what? Now it's limited, or limit 1? Once Actions evolves, Invo has a suite of monsters that need a specific attribute, one for all 6 basic attributes. We might make a Shadal's Parallel at some point. Oh yeah, Testudo, that's going. The made its mark on the format immediately, due to their highly flexible summoning material. No, wait. On the format immediately due to their cheap summoning costs, broad material components, and variety of answers to a number of problems. Oh, it just banned. Okay, just banned. Broad material components. Okay, so let me reread that. By leveraging the graveyard as a resource, ensuring that your fusion effects were always in reach, and having a suite of incredible boss monsters to choose from, Invoked made its mark on the format immediately due to their cheap summoning costs, broad material components, and variety of answers to a number of problems. It's so prevalent that despite not having any presence in the modern metagame, people still talk about this stand-in for one sec. I need to do some research here. Aleister Crowley, English occultist. When did Crowley start doing stuff? Okay. It's so prevalent that despite not having any presence in the modern metagame, people still talk about this stand-in for British occultist from the early 1900s. With a mix of scorn and what's a good word that starts with S? Ban as a trio. The thing that made it stand out being able to using opponent's resources. Should be saying this. So what's the duel with Invoked? Well, there's a series of fusion monsters that all need to main deck monster call as one of the trio. Yep, that seems pretty much how it's gonna go with that part. That too kind of. No, but don't go there. You know how people talked about Invoked these days. Oh yeah, that's what I'm referencing here specifically. So prevalent that despite not having any presence in the modern metagame... Oh. People still talk about this stand-in for a British occultist from the early 1900s with a mix of scorn and... Well, Spite's not good. I heard British and my blood ran cold. That makes sense, all things considered. Sinister? No, that's not right. Oh, here we go. With a mix of fright and delight. There you go. And delight. So today, we're going to... So prevalent that despite not having any presence in the modern metagame, people still talk about the stand-in for a British occultist from the early 1900s with a mix of fright and delight. So today we're going to crack open the Book of the Law to... Besides the lore, I always really like the way the basics fusions are based on big historical things like Caliga being a Roman god, Magellanica being a famous island, etc., etc. It's some good references. So today we're going to crack open the Book of the Law to catalog, I guess. Catalog... Book of the Law to catalog our how do you spell catalog? I'm bad with this. So today we're going to crack open the Book of the Law to catalog our creatures from Beyond the Veil. Oh, Fear and Fascination, that would have been a good one. So today we're going to crack open the Book of the Law to catalog our creatures from Beyond the Veil. Research, there we go. To research research our creatures from beyond the veil. Writing is hard, so among us. Absolutely not. Oh, so is it wrong now? Did I spell it wrong now? No, it doesn't matter. I guess we changed it. Oh, there's some in our supporting cast of tech picks. I don't know. I need something different. So it's the... So this part has a formula. It's the going over the cards. And depending on if it's new or not, the second part is different. It's review our cards. Talk about how it's changed or how they work. And then the last part is talking about our tech cards. Summon our supporting cast of tech picks. Let's go ahead and make that the last one. And summon a supporting cast of tech picks. Okay, we need a center one though. One sec. Let me pull up the Fusion Magistus monster. I think I'm not going to reference it here. IWAS, there we go. Okay, so make every word a misspelling. God, I would die. Bond with the gods we discover as a reference to how we keep seeing Alistair's Saf in the Invoked fusion. Maybe Nova check Discord real quick. Let me go ahead. Okay, there you go. Zabadaba babadabu zabi wabi. Okay, that's all good. Invoke some lesser seen beings or beings. On the book of the law on the veil. Because this is the section where we're talking about how the deck works. Listen in on IWAS's managed to spell spirit. To IWAS's Should we change summon a supporting cast to invoke a supporting? Because like the thing is that I'm going to be saying invoked a lot in this video, and summon and supporting have a bit of like alliteration to it. But should we change it to invoke to keep the theming on IWAS's divine? Crack a book of the Lot. Research our creatures from beyond the veil. Listen on IWAS's divine. Oh, that was going to be wave 1 and then the newer stuff like Outgates and Madness. I guess that would make sense. Putting in the IWAS reference would be would muddle the mixture a little bit. Here's from beyond the veil. I'm gonna crack open the book of the law to research our creature from beyond the veil. Oh god, this is more difficult than I thought it would be. Yeah, porcelain, I agree. That's exactly what I wanted to avoid. You can call you get anytime. I open the book of the logic. Research our creatures from beyond the veil. Determine what to do when our rituals go a little haywire. Muddle the mixture. We need lore. How's it going? Doing homework right now. Going to have this in the background. Oh, well, good. We'll both be doing our writing assignment. Okay, how does determine what to do when our rituals go a little haywire? And that references Madness, Alistair. Take a look behind the curtain. Maybe not like what you see. Oh, while we're doing that, chat looks so squunched. Let me see if I can fix the chat box here. And how's that look? I think that looks better. One thing from Konami is that you can never make enough puns. Absolutely. It is in freaking integral. Sorry, looking some stuff up here, cleaning up the taskbar here. By the way, the Archetype is also referenced to the Final Fantasy summons. I mean, there are parallels. I'm not gonna deny that. Oh, I heard a thing. Ah, Famtoon, thank you for subscribing. Football ideas all day, partner. Good, because we're going to need them. And by we, I mean me. Okay, that's all we set up. As a former Path of Exile player, I can help but think of the Shaper's line, everything short of perfection is irrelevant, when someone says, gaze into the abyss. Undust the research material on the shelf, maybe. Would that fit into like the center part? Because I think we're just trying to figure out our center part, talking about discussing how the deck operates. And I think determine what to do when our ritual goes a little haywire is just enough of a reference, but also talking about finding out a process. The ED stands for extra demons. But does this all seem good so far? Well, actually, go ahead. While we figure that out, it's time to something with Invoked. We're looking for something that has an I sound to it. Or an I letter. Investigate, invoked. Not interrogate. That's not a good word for this. Have I said investigate for an archetype recently? I don't think I have. It's time to investigate, invoked. while we're here, let's go ahead and idea for a silly tech pick. E-Hero Plasma. Light monster dumps Alistair and takes his name for that purpose. That'd be funny. Writing puns. Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, inquire. I like that. Let's inquire about Invoked. Okay. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, good. We're going to go ahead and... We're going to take the section of the video where I always talk about the Discord and the Patreon, and we're going to go ahead and slap it right here. Fun fact, this part about the Discord, I always try to put in a little something fun each episode to make it a little different, but I always figure it out, like, as I'm recording, so, you know, there's a little behind the scenes on how that works. Okay. Time to illustrate with Invoked. I don't know. I think incur is good. No, not incur. Inquire. It's got that IN to it too, so I can do like a bit of a repetition on the syllable. Get that set up there. Get the chat set up there. So, what's the deal with Invoked? Well, you're not going to find many parallels between their levels, types, or attributes. That says Patreon, Nova. What says Patreon? I'm sure it says Patreon in here, but there's also the Discord part. There's a lot of things I put in the call to action, because I don't want to put it any further in the middle of the video, though, because that's something that I don't like, so I feel like other people are not going to like it either. So that's just where everything, it all goes there, and it all goes at the end, and that's it. Are we starting with the fusions or the spells and Alistair? We're going to start with... We're going to leave the fusions... The fusions are definitely not going to be the start of it. We need to start with either Alistair or Invocation. I think what we should do is go Invocation, and then talk about Alistair, who searches it and is the required fusion material for just about everything. And then we step back into Magical Meltdown, which searches Alistair. Then we talk about the fusions, and then we talk about the additional cards like Book of the Law and Omega. There's only Patreon. Okay, yeah, that's not how we spell Patreon. I'll fix it for everyone else, but like the only thing that matters is how I say it. Okay, so rather there a series of fusion monsters that require. There's a series of fusion monsters that require. Is that how MBT says it? I don't want to say it how MBT says it because it's so. It gets me on a visceral level, and I know he does it on purpose. What about Madness Alistair? Where does he go? Madness Alistair will go after the fusions. So, because like normally how I do it in videos where there's a hierarchy of this, it's usually monsters, extra deck monsters, spells, and traps. And then the extra deck monsters are fusion, synchro, exceeds, link. That's the hierarchy of how we do things. So we'll cover the fusions, all of those, and then we'll cover Madness Alistair at the end. And that works doubly well here because it will, since Madness Alistair was a piece of future support, it'll help contextualize what it can do for the rest of the archetype. I'm begging you to get Grammarly or something. You need a spell check. I don't need a spell check. I'm going to be reading this later. Is this what this chat's going to be all about? Nova, the thing that you're going to write for that's a verbal thing is going to be not spelled correctly. But Alistair, Invocation, Meltdown, and then you can transition to the fusions with Kaliga. I'll try. Because I want there to be a good flow to it. And I like that Invocation, Alistair, Magical Meltdown goes up a chain of, like, searching effects. Like, technically, because Invocation doesn't search Alistair, obviously, but it's like a reverse order that I can talk about. But Alistair is, like, the linchpin of the entire archetype. So I could go, like, Alistair, and then you can... the card that Alistair searches is Invocation. And then once Invocation is talked about, we can go... and this is all insulated by Magical Meltdown, which you play and it searches you Alistair. Let's give it a shot with that. And it's the iconic monster, so maybe it should go first. Spellings for losers. Rather than a series of fusion monsters that all require Alistair the Invoker as fusion material. They cover a wide swath of attributes. And have a number of different effects. No, I don't think we need to cover that. Cover a wide swath of... I don't even think we need to talk about that, actually. I think we just go right into it. My perfectionist blood is boiling. Then I guess you better listen to this in the background then, because you're about to see the failings of human nature and writing. My idea goes in a chain of lore, though. That's fair. Type fast and Twitch ban that guy. Do I have to do a Nimdim? Do I have to do a Nimdim? I'm not. It's fine. Thoughts on how Wicked God support would be other than just Divine Evolution compared to the Gods and Sacred Beast support? Golly. That would take a lot of thought process that I don't know how I would talk about while we're in the middle of this. Don't forget to point Alistair's staff on every invoked monster. Maybe. If that becomes a... Oh, actually, this would be a good time to talk about the lore, though, if we're talking about how there's not a lot of connective tissue between the cards aside from that one thing. Rather, there are a series of fusion monsters that all require Alistair the Invoker as fusion material. This illustrious... brain is nothing but one brain cell in the entire spellcaster lore. Well, that one brain cell is doing a lot of work. Illustrious. Maybe not illustrious. Ban me, coward. I'm not gonna do it. You're fine. I'll require Alistair the Invoker as fusion material. This magnificent mage has since hasn't just made a splash at your local tournament, but has also found themselves embroiled in Illustrious Illusionist. See, I was stuck on saying Illustrious Illusionist, but he doesn't do illusions. He summoned things from another dimension. This magnificent mage hasn't just made a splash at your local tournament, but has also found themselves embroiled in 2 other storylines. One as the precocious pioneer of the evocational arts, Crowley, and another as the power battery for La Maison, the Grand Spellbook Tower in the Prophecy storyline. 2 events that I'm sure will end with, will lead to some very happy and wholesome responses. Wholesome endings. Okay. This magnificent mage hasn't just made a splash at your local tournament, but has also found themselves embroiled in 2 other storylines. One as the precocious pioneer of the evocational arts Crowley, and another as the power battery for La Maison, the Grand Spellbook Tower in the Prophecy storyline. 2 events that I'm sure will lead to some very happy and wholesome endings. Magnificent Mad Mage, magical researcher, mage, summoner, caster. Good. Feed my word banks. In fact, let's meet the You forgot the /s. Well, you see, that's what tone is for. In fact, let's meet the subject of these tales, Alistair the Invoker. They're a level 4 dark spellcaster monster with 1,000 attack and 1,800 defense. I can't wait to watch the end product of this video so I can watch perfection in 2 different forms. Oh boy, prepare to be disappointed because this is not going to be Meet the Madman himself. He's not mad yet. Let's not overstep our bounds. Ah yes, the wholesome ending of Al Getty's blowing up what's left of the Prophecy gang. Exactly. They're exploded now. That happening is the epitome of the "you're banned" prophecies. Okay. Compare them to Honest. There's probably going to be an Honest parallel at some point, considering what they do. Okay, level 4. Let me go ahead and I've still got Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro pulled up. Let's pull up Alistair's page. Okay, there it is. If normal summoned or flipped face up, you can add the normal spell Invocation from your deck to your hand. That shit hasn't taken over yet. Yeah, now's the time to make normal summon Alistair jokes. No, we gotta wait. There's still more time. Alistair's a D&D character whose gimmick was conjure creature as their main source of attack, then made a deal with an eldritch god he regretted. Alistair is what happens when you play a conjuration wizard and then you multi-class into warlock. Incredible, inappropriate, interstellar, irresistible, interconnected, invoker. Ooh, those are good. Those are good. That includes World of Prophecy, though. I don't make the story. Alistair is an honest-to-goodness powerhouse. Kale, you've got my writing sensibilities down to a T. Oh, I'm out of tea. Everyone hold on, entertain yourselves for a bit. I'm going to go get some more hydration. I'm going to be right back. I'll put Golden Song on for a sec to entertain all of you. Okay, we're back. Invocation where super poly uses the grave instead of the field. On to it. Mention sorry, what did I miss? Oh, you're gonna have a lot of fun here. We're writing Invoked explained. M-Star gotta go. Hope that pans out well. Hey, thanks for showing up, M-Star, and have yourself a good one. Whenever someone says Alistair's like super poly, I see go orange and I go hee hee. Okay, so you can also discard them from your hand as a quick effect. Does it target the monster? Let me see here. Card from your hand to the grave. Did I put send here? No, it's got to be send. It's not discarding. You can also send them from your hand to the grave as a quick effect to target a fusion monster you control, granting it a 1000 attack and defense boost until the end of the turn. The deck, the almost immediate access the fusions as soon as it hits the field. Okay. Yeah. Invocation is how we're going to be summoning our fusion monsters 99% of the time. So, normal summoning Alistair effect is going to be very important in resolving our game plan. See, there we go. I found a way to work it in. Corporatisms. Magical meltdown. Normal summon Alistair. Hotel Travag. Crispy. Let's go ahead and put this in a quotation mark so future Nova knows to say it in like the kind of normal summon Alistair effect bracket like that to make sure it all works out. Invocation is how we're going to be summoning our fusion monsters 99% of the time, so normal summoning Alistair effect is going to be very important in resolving our game plan. Don't forget to mention how pretty Alistair is. Got it. We will make sure that happens. Very important to resolving our game plan. And if you somehow find yourself the owner of a second normal summon, you'll note that there's not a single once per turn clause on this monster. This also applies to its attack boosting effect, which might seem like a waste since it's not getting you the fusion spell you so desperately need. Getting you the fusion spell you so desperately need, but adding a colute to our already impressive arsenal of eldritch beings. This also applies to its attack. Let's go with its stat boosting effect, because it does more than attack. Stat boosting effect. Which might seem like a waste since it's not getting you the fusion spell you so desperately need, but adding a colute to our already impressive arsenal of eldritch beings win battles you otherwise. But sometimes you need big punch. You know what? Let's just do that. But sometimes you need big punch. This is chat writes it after all. But sometimes you need big punch. This also applies to its stat boosting effect, which might seem like a waste since it's not getting you the fusion spell you so desperately need. But sometimes you need big punch. So this handsome Hierophant creates immediate toolbox options all by themselves. I'm going to tweak that a little bit. And to top it all off, they're a complete fashion statement. Look at that robe, that staff, that sophisticated monocle, that screams, I'm not afraid to breach the outer limits of the material, the outer limits of the known universe, and look good while doing it. I'm a published poet, I swear. Well, I'm glad you're here then, because I write like a dipstick. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this out, see how it seems. In fact, let's meet the subject of these tales, Alistair the Invoker. They're a level 4 Dark Spellcaster monster with 1000 attack and 1800 defense. If normal summoned or flipped face up, you can add the normal spell Invocation from your deck to your hand. You can also send them from the hand to the You can also send them from your hand to the grave as a quick effect to target a fusion monster you control, granting it 1000 attack and defense boost until the end of the turn. Invocation is how we're going to summon our fusion monsters 99% of the time, so normal summon Alistair effect is going to be a very important part in resolving our game plan. And if you somehow find yourself the owner of a second normal summon, you'll note that there's not a single once per turn clause on this card. This also applies to its stat boosting effect, which might seem like a waste since it's not getting you the fusion spell you so desperately need, but sometimes you need a big punch. So this handsome Hierophant creates immediate toolbox options all by themselves. And to top it all off, they're a complete fashion statement. Look at that robe, that staff, that sophisticated monocle that screams, "I'm not afraid to breach the outer limits of the known universe and look good while doing it." Invoked explained. Yeah, that was a bit of a... I didn't get my finger off the shift key soon enough. Okay. I think that's a solid paragraph to talk about Alistair. I don't think we're missing anything important. It gets all the important bits. Its utility. They look pretty. All kinds of stuff. I'm back. What'd I miss? Where are we at? We just finished Alistair, I believe. So we're going to move on to... Oh my god, you sound like the real GoldenNovaYugioh. I get that a lot, as it turns out. Good sight read, I'm feeling it. You know, I'm going to say... That's probably like when I record, sometimes it takes me like 4 to 5 times to get through one of these paragraphs. I think that was one of my better ones. Minor flubs notwithstanding. That's an issue that I have. Normally my first read through is actually really good with only like a couple of issues, but rereading it the second and third time to get the safety take, I trip over myself all the time. It's horrifying. I don't know how I get these videos out in time. Oh, but you can't have an invoked deck without Alistair's signature technique, Invocation. Okay, actually writing that sentence made me think a thought. You know those cards like Spiral Flame Strike for Odd Eyes Dragon, or Skydive Scorcher for Flame Wingman, like all of those spells that are like signature attack moves. Is Invocation Alistair's signature attack spell? You could also talk about the hair if you found the room. Let's see, look at that robe, that staff, that perfectly coiffed hair. There we go. Invocation also lets you fusion summon monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Yes. Does that ringing noise come up whenever I click at that noise? If it does, I'll try to be more careful. It's a normal spell that lets you fusion summon any fusion monster by using materials. Is this a signature move spell? Yes. It's a normal spell that lets you fusion summon any fusion monster by using materials in your hand. This may seem incredibly restrictive, but if you're fusion summoning an invoked monster, you can also banish monsters from your field and or either player's grave And if that wasn't enough, let me read the, hear the ding. Ah, God, that's an annoying sound. I am very sorry to subject you to all of that. Is there a way to turn that off? Because I know I don't need it. Okay. If that wasn't enough, while invocation is in your grave, you can target a banished Alistair the Invoker, likely there because they were banished as fusion material, to shuffle invocation into your deck. And if you do, add that Alistair to your hand. I'm your strip editor now. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. So who would win, Invoked or Fossils? Obviously Invoked. The most Fossils are doing are making a car. Alistair is summoning a worldwide super threat with Elysium. There's no competition. Okay, if you plan to fusion summon an Invoke monster, you can banish monster from its last effect. Also lets you recycle our Handsome Mage. Input spell. Later, we can also use the effect invocation once per turn. Chat writes the script. Corbin spell checks the script. Target banish Alistair the Invoker, likely there because they're a banished fusion material, to shuffle invocation into your deck, and if you do, add that Alistair to your... Ah, I did it again! Invocation in your deck, and if you do, add that Alistair to your hand. Where is it? Where did I put it? Wait, it's not this, right? You're not telling me to change that to "you are grave." So if invocation is Alistair's signature move, what does that make his discard effect? Like a buffering spell that any spellcaster can learn? Maybe. Resource loop to always guarantee a fusion summoning, more likely than not. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that in a moment. Alright, based on rickrolling and trolling your opponent. After last stream, I don't think I want to imagine that. Okay. Likely there because they're banished as fusion material. Shuffle invocation in your deck, and if you do, add that Alistair to your hand. At which point you can normal summon Alistair, which searches invocation, and now you can see just how simple it is to keep your strategy going using with this theme. Unless your opponent finds a way to break this cycle, you'll be able to access your fusion spell and make a powerful monster using little to no resources. This may seem incredibly restrictive, but if you're fusion summoning is what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. If you're fusion summoning. There we go. Okay. It has been done. As a way to break the cycle, you'll be able to access your fusion spell and make a powerful monster. It's as simple as writing a script or an arcane tome of the unknown. Easy things that you can do. You'll be able to access your fusion spell and make a powerful monster using little to no resources turn after turn. And while you can only recycle invocation once per turn, you can activate as many as you can from your hand in a turn. So drawing multiples isn't always that bad. I'm now appeased. Many appreciations and bless your bloodline. Many thanks, Corbinisms. I hope that the God of the Harvest blesses you with many corn. Yo, Nova, do you remember our duel between Tindangles and Fighting Underwear in that one stream? Any thoughts on that? I totally forget what we're talking about here. Fighting Underwear. What did I play? What caused that to be a thing? We'll mention first. See, that's a... I think who I want to mention last is Kaliga, because Kaliga and Alistair, the Madness Invoker, like, have a connection where I can make this transition over to talking about Madness Alistair. So I think Kaliga has to go last, even though it has the first, like, the lowest level to go up the chain. So we might start from Mechaba and go down the levels. No, because if we do that, then Elysium would be the top level. And that would make any sense to do all of that. It wouldn't make any sense to talk about Elysium until we talked about all the other attributes. So I think we actually do have to start with Kaliga. Battling Boxers. Okay, no, I totally forget that fight. That was like months ago, though. So unfortunately, my brain just spat it out. What up? How did that go down again, by the way? Organisms. Wait, how do you know about my high school band, Corncob Conundrum? It's simple. I have a side blog that keeps track of indie scenes in the American Northwest. Obviously, the Idaho mainstay band of the high school circuit, Corncob Conundrum, could not be overlooked. How do we finish off this paragraph? While you can only recycle invocation once per turn, you can activate as many as you can from your hand in a turn, so drawing multiples isn't always that bad. It's a summoning circle, so we could say something about it going full circle, but I feel like I've made a joke about going full circle recently. I'll just say you're going to mention Kaliga after Algetties. Oh, yeah, that's another one that wouldn't make sense either, yeah. Okay, no, never mind. We're going to start with Kaliga. Definitely going to start with Kaliga. Is the 14-turn duel that you won via the Coach Xyz effect, and that it was like my field wouldn't die? Corbin, I live in the Southeast, though. Yeah, that's why I said the American Midwest, so I wouldn't dox you. Also, because I didn't actually know. That would also be a good reason for me to get it wrong. If I'd gotten it right, that'd be weird. Like a location once per turn, you can activate as many from your hand as you want. More fun to read. Also, it's a more fun read than politics on a Sunday morning. How is that? I think I kind of get it. I think I kind of know where you're going with the joke, but I think that's a little like a little forced. So invoke some rage in your opponent and invoke a ton of fusions while you're at it. Ooh, that could work. Let's try it on for size. And while you can only recycle invocation once per turn, you can activate as many as you can from your hand in a turn, so drawing multiples isn't always that hard. Meaning you can invoke a ton of fusions while invoking a ton of rage in your opponent. Okay. Let's try this. Okay. But you can't have an invoked deck with... And you can't have an invoked deck... Oh, that's going to be terrible to try and read. But you can't have an invoked deck... But you can't have an invoked deck without Alistair's signature technique, Invocation. It's a normal spell that lets you fusion summon any fusion monster by using materials in your hand. This may seem incredibly restrictive, but if you're fusion summoning an invoked monster, you can also banish monsters from your field and or either player's graveyard. And if that wasn't enough, while Invocation is in your grave, you can target a banished Alistair the Invoker, likely there because they were banished as fusion material, to shuffle Invocation into your deck, and if you do, add that Alistair to your hand. At which point you can normal summon Alistair, which searches Invocation, and now you can see just how simple it is to keep your strategy going with this theme. Unless your opponent finds a way to break this cycle, you'll be able to access your fusion spell and make a powerful monster using little to no resources turn after turn. And while you can only recycle Invocation once per turn, you can activate as many as you can from your hand in a turn, so drawing multiples isn't always that bad, meaning you can invoke a ton of fusions while invoking a ton of rage in your opponents. And just remember, this is only the second most feared card ever, only before Mystic Mine. What's that? We gotta add a little bit more. Using little to no resources turn after turn, all while stripping your opponent's grave of monsters that they might have wanted to use later. Okay, that also reinforces the fact that you're using cards out of your opponent's grave, which is not an insignificant function of Invocation. Wait, no, I like little to no Reese's Pieces. Just throw people for a loop. It'll be next before Fusion Monsters are covered. Yeah, Magical Meltdown should be next. Oh, here we go. Actually, Corbinisms, this is perfect. So, meaning you can invoke a ton of fusions while invoking a ton of rage in your opponents. You could say that they're going to experience a magical meltdown. See? There we go. Brilliant writing. Brilliant writing from everyone involved. This is going to be my magnum opus. That they might have wanted to sue later. Oh man, did I No, there it is. This is a fun time. I'll have to go to bed. Hey, well, Chilling Vlad, thank you very much for stopping by and enjoying some writing time with us. I hope you have yourself a wonderful evening. Just checking my phone real quick. Just checking my phone. Bingo! Which just so happens to be our field spell. Magical Meltdown, give me that spell, gonna write it down. Gonna write it down. Okay. Magical Meltdown. Let's be our field spell. When activated, Jonathan, hey, Jonathan here. Hi, Nova. How did you chat? Can't stick around, unfortunately. Just popping in to say hey. Hope everyone's doing well. Hey, well, thanks for stopping by, Jonathan. Hope you have a good night. Hope you're doing well. Corbinisms. Oh my god, the end of the Melodical Meltdown paragraph can be the Travago meme. Oh, that's a meme? I actually have to learn what the Travago meme is now. Okay, there's so many things here. Corbin, can you like Discord me an example so I know what we're talking about here? Because when you did the Travago thing earlier, I thought it was like the 3-part thing was just a general kind of a setup punchline joke thing. Jeremiah, going to bed can wait. I have late night stream memeing to do. Well, I will let everyone know that we've got 50 minutes left in the stream. I am only going to be streaming until 11. If we don't finish by tonight, we will find some more stream time to write the rest of this. Because this is outstanding. I am loving this. If you guys are having fun, I'm glad, because I'm having a ton of fun. When activated, you can add a... Oh, it's just the commercial thing that always ends in hotel, Travago, and you match the cadence with the 2 things prior. Okay. Okay, you can add 1 Alster. You can add an Alster, the Invoker, from your deck to your hand. I want to see more to the end, but sadly, I got to go to sleep. I can't wait to see when it comes out, and I wonder if more of these chat explained videos in the future. Maybe. It's certainly fun. Back to your hand. Also, while it's on the field, the activation of your cards and effects that include fusion summoning can't be negated, and your opponent's cards and effects can't be activated when a monster is fusion summoned this way. Okay, that's the effect. Save. This is a really nice chill stream. Awesome. That's good. I do like it when streams be chill though. Jeremiah playing time to meme, which is the only cure for sadness. That's one cure for sadness. And absolutely the best way to spend my Friday night. Awesome. Hey, good night, Jacob. Take care. This is Blessed Nova, and I'm meeting cool people. Awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool seeing how you write stuff, to be honest. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad. I thought this would be... I thought that the only thing keeping this afloat would be the novelty, but I'm glad that just the general idea of it is fun. Okay, activated when a monster is fusion summoned this way. Ah! One sec. How to turn off the weird chime in WordPad. Oh, there's too many tutorials here. I can't figure it out. Never mind. It'll have to wait. Hopefully it'll get some folks to, I don't know, maybe consider following in your footsteps and be inspired. Wink. Wink. Kale, sorry for not contributing much. I'm basically a zombie right now. Hey, no, it's all good. It's all good. Hopefully Hopefully the dulcet sounds of my voice can help lull you into the land of dreams. Ooh. Kevin, this is my first Nova stream, but I'm definitely coming back. That's cool. Thanks for stopping by and joining all this tomfoolery that we're up to right now. Okay, so can be negated, and your opponent's cards and effects can't be activated when a monster is fusion summoned this way. Okay, so we've got that part there. Generally, this is going to be copies 4, 5, and 6 of Alistair, but it's incredibly helpful when it comes to incredibly helpful in pushing through but can be incredibly helpful in pushing through your fusion effects. Ghost Bell becomes useless. What are some other things, like what are some modern things that would normally stop invocation plays if not for Magical Meltdown? Herald of Perfection. Perfection is little more than a fancy light fixture. What's a third thing? I want a rules of threes this. Ghost Bell becomes useless. Herald of Perfection is a little more than a fancy light fixture. DD Crow. No, you can activate DD Crow in response to all of this. And Dark Law isn't stopped by Magical Meltdown either. Because nothing about adding the card to your hand is involved in fusion summoning. Aqua Dolphin. Aqua Dolphin is also not like relevant to all of this. If I invoke Souls of Dark Law under Meltdown, yeah, which is very unfortunate. Summon limit. Summon limit won't work either because that's a continuous effect that's applied. So if they already had it on board before Magical Meltdown was on the board, then that wouldn't work. No, actually, Summon Limit specifically also works under Magical Meltdown because the two things it stops are negating effects that involve fusion summonings and responding to fusion summons once they're completed. If I play Invocation and my opponent chains Summon Limit to the Invocation, they're technically not negating the summon, but if it resolves and I've already done 2 summons, it does halt the summon. So actually, Summon Limit does not have any interaction with that at all, which sucks. I thought you couldn't respond to fusion summons. So you can't negate fusion. So it's really weird how it's worded. So Invocation, Magical Meltdown says you can't negate effects that involve fusion summons, and you can't respond to the summon of a fusion monster that was fusion summoned. Technically, that means you can respond to effects that fusion summon, but once they hit the board, you can't chain something. There's a very weird intersect there, but suffice it to say, Magical Meltdown does not stop someone from flipping summon limit to stop that summon. An anti-spell fragrance would be too late even without Magical Meltdown, so that wouldn't have anything to add to this. You can't Judgment an Invocation or Magical Meltdown. That is true. You can't Judgment. In fact, let's do that one. Okay, so Alistair, but it can be incredibly helpful in pushing through your fusion effects. Ghost Spell becomes useless. Herald of Perfection is a little more than a fancy light fixture. And Solemn Johnson is just gonna have to take the day off. There we go. Cool. Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Porcelain. That was the exact thing I was looking for. I guess not what I was looking for. I was looking for like an archetypal thing. But Judgment is played I assume it's played a lot more now. So it is a thing to be... Okay, cool. Sorry if I was being over-explainy. It's something that took me a while to get, so I imagine that sometimes the weird little wordings can kind of trip people up. So sorry if I got... if I did the white dude thing of explaining too much. Okay. I'm just gonna take the day off. Useful in pushing through your fusion effects. Ghost Spell becomes useless. Herald of Perfection is a little more than a fancy light fixture. And Solemn Johnson is just going to have to take the day off. Dimension Side Guide to Morning Where I Am, which means school. See you, Nova. Hope you have fun. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Dimension. Sorry about school. That blows. But I hope it's at least an easy day of school. Take care. Solemn Johnson is going to have to take the day off. Okay, so we've explained, so we've said what it does. We've talked about, like, its interactions and its different usages. How do we wrap up this sentence? How do we wrap up this paragraph in a funny way? It's going to have to take a day off. A good cadence to it, very iambic. That is something that I look for when it comes to writing these things. It's not enough to just like put information on the page. It should also read well. So I think this last sentence really has like a flow to it. It's got kind of like a joke structure to it. Like it's the setup, Ghost. Herald of Perfection one is is the longest out of all of them to really ramp up the whole idea, and then Solemn Johnson's gonna have to take the day off, kind of like I feel like pulls it all together. Wait, wouldn't Vanity's Ruler just stop them? Vanity's Ruler is the level 8 fairy one, because if that's the case, yeah, but that would stop everyone. Let me look at the art. Sometimes I have to look at the art again, because like the art will help something. So he's in the circle. Something's going a little haywire. Solemn Johnson is the resolution action. Exactly. Oh, no, actually, though, because I had to explain it so much, it'll probably be useful to talk about the fact that there are these weird edge cases. However, don't fall. What's the phrase? Fall back on your laurels. Rest on your laurels. It's rest on your laurels. Okay. Don't rest on your laurels, thinking that this is just a... However, don't rest on your laurels thinking that this is just a catch-all protection effect, because the wording here does leave some wiggle room for your opponent. For instance, summon limit can be chained to the fusion effect, because while fusion effect, because it doesn't technically negate does it say activation and effects? The activation of your cards and effects that the activation of your cards. For instance, summon limit can be chained to the fusion effect because it doesn't technically negate the activation, but can cause the effect to fizzle if the conditions are met. Summon limit can be chained to the fusion effect because it doesn't technically negate the summon. Oh no, yeah. In like the real terms, it doesn't. I add the technically in there specifically because it might trip some people up. So it's to bring attention to that fact is why I add the technically there. And while it only... Yeah, I'm using fizzle. I'm going to say fizzle. And because I can hear Distant Coder screaming in the distance, you know what? If Distant Coder wants to write a script that has like a flow to how we talk about these things, he can say whatever he wants. Until then, I'm going to say fizzle because people understand when I say fizzle that it means the effect just doesn't work. Okay, because it doesn't technically negate the activation, but can cause the effect to fizzle if the conditions are met. And because it only stops, and because it only keeps your opponent from negating the activation, your opponent can still chain an Ash Blossom to fusion effects like Shadal Fusion because it negates the effect, not the activation. Jeremiah, step 1, activate anti-spell fragrance. 2, cosmic cyclone set invocation. Step 3, repeat twice more. Step 4, step 5, profit. I'd love to see Coder come up with this masterpiece. I'm sure he could if he wanted to. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying that I'm only going to take it from him if he shows up. People know what fizzle is. People know what mill is. MTG R&D spent 25 years trying to not use mill as a keyword. By God, that was so funny. Like, because yeah, I heard that. I don't play a lot of Magic the Gathering, but I heard that too. And then what was it? Corset 2020. They're all like, we'll just make mill a keyword or something. Like that was the funniest designed thing to hear in the world. the effect, not the activation. And because it only keeps your opponent from negating the activation, your opponent can still chain an Ash Blossom to fusion effects like Shaddoll Fusion, which send material from the deck to the grave, because it negates the because let's just say Ash, because Ash negates the effect, not the activation. But I don't bring this up to bring up the holes in this protection to poke holes in its effectiveness. To poke holes in its effectiveness. Rather, it's you from getting rule sharked at the it's keep getting rule sharked by someone during a tournament, so you don't end up having your own magical meltdown. That kind of completes the paragraph, but I made that like tying anger to magical meltdown at the start of this. I don't know if I want to end it with that too. In fact, I know I don't want to. That is like just repeating the same joke in the same paragraph. I don't even want to repeat the same joke in the same video, let alone the same paragraph. So let's try to workshop the end of that. Jeremiah, fizzle in this hizzle. The fizzles are all up in this hizzle. Okay, but I don't bring up the holes in this protection to poke holes in its effectiveness. Rather, it's to keep you in some tournaments so you don't end up having your own magical meltdown. Does the word respond have anything to do with this joke we're going to do? Because the lack of being able to respond is a core part of this effect. So does like making a respond joke somewhere? Getting rule sharked by someone during tournaments. I'm blanking, boss. Yeah. We might just have to move forward with this and like lean into the fact that I am repeating it. But I think we're just gonna have to leave it at that. Returning to a demon? I don't know. Yeah, I could do it. Holes in the protection to poke holes in its effectiveness. Rather, it's to keep you from getting Oh, demon though. The demon did put me on a different sidetrack though. A different line of thinking. Getting real sharp with that response to make. No, I think Porcelain put me on the right track here actually. But I don't bring a whole these otherworldly contracts have some very specific language in them. These otherworldly contracts have some very specific language in them. Wouldn't want to end up. These otherworldly contracts have some very specific language in them. And you wouldn't want to end up. True. Follow your heart, and also Lynn. Jeremiah ain't just having a meltdown here, having a full-on breakdown, break down. Just a very specific language in them, and it won't end up. So don't get caught in the fine. Okay, there we go. Fine print, and I wouldn't want you to get caught up in the fine print. Boom. There we go. That feels like a way better way to end this paragraph than beforehand. Okay, let's read this through. Make sure it all sounds good going out the other way. Okay. So drawing multiples isn't always that bad, meaning you can invoke a ton of fusions while invoking a ton of rage in your opponent. You could say that they're going to experience a magical meltdown, which just so happens to be our field spell. When activated, you can add an Alistair the Invoker from your deck to your hand. Also, while it's on the field, the activation of your cards and effects that include fusion summoning can't be negated, and your opponent's cards and effects can't activate. And your opponent's cards and effects can't be activated when a monster is fusion summoned this way. Generally, this is just going to be copies 4, 5, and 6 of Alistair, but it can be incredibly helpful in pushing through your fusion effects. Ghost Bell becomes useless, Herald of Perfection is little more than a fancy light fixture, and Solemn Johnson is just going to have to take the day off. However, don't rest on your laurels thinking that this is just a catch-all protection effect, because the wording here does have some wiggle room for your opponent. For instance, Summon Limit can be chained to the fusion effect because it doesn't technically negate the activation, but can cause the effect to fizzle if the conditions are met. And because it only keeps your opponent from negating the activation, your opponent can still chain an Ash Blossom to fusion effects like Shaddoll Fusion, which sends material from the deck to the grave, because Ash negates the effect, not the activation. But I don't bring up the holes in this protection to poke holes in its effectiveness. These otherworldly contracts have some very specific language in them, and I wouldn't want you to get caught in the fine print. Boom. That's solid. I think that's a solid. I think that's a solid paragraph. Holy cow. Okay, so we've got 3 of our most important cards out of the way. Now it's fusion time. Let's So like we said earlier, let's go ahead and go down the fusion. Let's go up through the levels here, and let's start with Kaliga. These 3 form what I would call the essential core of any main deck invoked engine. Now let's go over the fusions that you'll be calling forth. And what better place to start with than a PSA on proper invocation procedures? Invoked Kaliga. They're a level 4 Dark Beast Dark Beast Let's just say monster. So here's the thing. When I group my monsters up, I try to put in the script the thing that they all have, so that I don't have to repeat it every time I talk about that card. Since I already called them fusions, normally how I break it down is I do level, attribute, type, and then whatever kind of extra deck type they are. But since I called them a fusion just now, I'm just going to skip the fusion part, so I'm just going to call them level 4 Dark Beast monsters. Caligula. No, not my favorite movie. Oh, gosh, Caligula. I haven't seen it. But back during the days that I could stand to watch Channel Awesome stuff, I did see Cinema Snob talk about it, and I never want to sit down and watch the actual movie. Caligula, my boyfriend's first final form. This isn't even my first final form. They all have the staff. Oh, yeah, that's, You know what? I'm not going to say it out loud, but I think that would make a good chapter marker. Like, chapter 2, see if you can spot the staff in all of the, in all the card arts. I think that'd be the best place to put that little, tidbit of information. Protocol, not procedure. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Let's change that to protocol. Proper invocation protocol. Oh yeah, that sounds really good. I love it. Change fusions to demons then. Well, they're not all like demons. I love Caligula. Caligula is very gender. Let me look at that. I like the big muscle arm myself. Da-da-da. Oh wait, Caligula's still biped. Never mind. Sorry. Wait, what? Oh, okay, now I'm confused. I don't know what the biped part has to do with versus quadruped having to do with being gender. Oh, I guess being a quadruped is more dragon. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Caligula got that cool like beak thing. Level 4 Dark Beast monster. Oh, that's spicy for the chapter markers. Yeah, sometimes the chapter markers are some of the most fun I ever have with these videos because I just find little like things that. Okay, so side tangent here, because we only have like 18 minutes. We can't get much farther than Caligula, so I'm going to take this time to talk about some more behind-the-scenes stuff. And I say what I'm about to say with, like, understanding and compassion and all of that, but there's a lot of people who will say things that are like, you forgot to add this, or you really should have gone more into how X happens. And I want to respond with, like, that Twitter post that's like, chose not to mention instead of forget kind of thing, because sometimes they don't just fit cleanly into the script, which is a huge consideration for me. That's A. B, sometimes if you check the chapter markers, you'll see that I bring attention to certain things, and it's very fun. Oh, don't say fusion. Oh, I don't mean to say I'm trying to avoid saying fusion. I just mean to say that that's how I normally format it, but I'm calling it that now so I don't have to say it later. Sorry, that's what I mean. Here my a synonym for fusion would be amalgamation. Let's continue this tomorrow as well. Oh yeah. Oh, tomorrow I can't do it tomorrow, but maybe I think we can do it for next stream too. That'd be fun to do next stream. I like Caligula because he's Alistair. Hey, that's a good reason to like Caligula. Amalgamation is just a good word too. We might need to use it later on for something. Because that's a good word. Look, sometimes you want to be transformed into an eldritch beast of muscle and bone that doesn't match the profile of your previous form. Hey, that's fair. That is fair. You know, if I think Lynn might like Alistair, get out. There's yes. Dark Beast monster with also has 1,000 attack and 1,800 defense. Wonder where they got that. Defense. Wonder where they got that. Which requires Alistair and a dark monster as fusion material. While on the field, if a player's monster effect attempts to activate, none of that player's other monsters can activate their effects for the rest of this turn while Kaliga is face up on the field. While they're face up on the field, each player can only attack with one monster during each battle phase. Okay, cool. So I flipped the effects around here because I think it flows better if we add the shorter one at the beginning and then the longer, more impactful one at the end. Kill. I just find the concept of eldritch beasts and grotesque forms in relation to them absolutely rad. You know what? I'm down with that too. I would, given the chance, I would also transform into a material form that would not be comprehensible as this rancid meat cage. The reason why Kaliga keeps monster effects for one a turn and only one attack is because he's ugly, so the entity can face. Hey, what are you talking about? Look, as far as twisted amalgamations of flesh and spirit go, Kaliga doesn't look half bad. Hey, gentle fiends, how's it going? Kaliga's pretty handsome. Jeremiah, the invoked earth monster looks like number 36 with a face. Absolutely. If you put Magalanica and Atlantid next to each other, I wouldn't be able to tell who's who. Can activate their effects with the turn while Kaliga's... Okay, so... Now let's go over the fusions that you'll be calling forth. And what better place to start than with a PSA on proper invocation protocol, Invoked Kaliga. They're a level 4 dark beast monster that also has 1,000 attack and 1,800 defense. Wonder where they got that stat spread. Which requires Alistair and a dark monster as fusion material. While on the field, each player can only attack with one monster during each battle phase, and if a player's monster effect attempts to activate, none of that player's other monsters can activate their effects for the rest of the turn. While Kaliga is face up on the field. Dolphin's not bad, just popping in for a bit while eating before I go to work. Oh, well, enjoy the last couple of minutes of us writing a delicious script. Kaliga buff, though. Kaliga can bench. Is that the tweet when this is done? Should I just go on Yugi Twitter and be all like, yo, this is my latest update on Yugi Fit. How am I looking? And then just post a picture of Kaliga? Not saying that as if Alistair isn't already buff, but Kaliga's more buff. Absolutely. On the field. Algeddis is the most buff. They're certainly the most destructive. Face up on the field. This monster has a lot of parallels with El Shadal Winda acting as a monster flood gate for player actions. And while it lacks the Shadow Cursed Spellcasters effect destruction immunity. Blocking attacks and effects is like 90% of what duelists do. So it's gonna be a big problem for anyone you throw this against. This is enough said. Kaliga's pretty solid for slowing your opponent down if there is a monster heavy deck and keeping tempo if your favor of the end. Absolutely. Also, may want to make a mention of the fact that Kaliga looks like Alistair. Oh, definitely. Trust me, we got that done right here. That's where we're going to put that implication. Yes. Alistair's buff. I know it. I mean, we'd never know. Base Alistair wears all those robes all the time, which is definitely not me saying that we should get some kind of Fireman's Poster style pinups for Alistair and a bunch of other monsters. We just don't question our Lord and Savior Alistair. Hallowed be thy invocations. Blessed be thy ash blossoms, for they shall not stop us from having invocation in hand already. I'm so glad to see Kaliga has seen playing Virtual World. Excuse me? In Virtual World? How? Why? Lose my mind here. Ding is a monster floodgate for player actions, and while it lacks the Shadow Cursed Spellcasters effect destruction immunity, blocking attacks and effects is like 90% of what duelists do, so it's going to be a big problem for anyone you throw this against. So if you can bolster them with... Nova, don't give me ideas that might accidentally happen. If you do, we need to figure out like 11 other monsters to put into that calendar because we got to fill up some space. My vote is Raphael, the for hire hero guy. That definitely has to be there. Dan Hobbs, love your channel, man. Keep up the good work. Hey, thanks, Dan. Much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, so if you can bolster them with kind of protection effect, so if you could bolster them with some kind of protection effect, this can clog up any deck that isn't Altergeist for a long while. Ojam was on the calendar. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You use Muddy Muddragon to make it. So you set up Muddragon and Zolkin, Crystal Wing off Zolkin, then make Kaliga with Zolkin because Muddragon can count as whatever name you need. Holy cows! What in the world? You choose a for hire monster over Dante for that? I don't know what Dante's availability is, but the for hire are for hire. I know that I can ring him up and call him in for like a job, so it's a logistical thing. Also, have you seen Raphael? Like, you could grate cheese with those abs. My God. Also with the sword, I guess, but like that, don't disgrace the sword like that. Any deck that isn't Altergeist for a long while. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go find the part of the handbook that details separating your magical separating mages from extra dimensional beings. I need to go find the part of the handbook that details the separating mages from extra dimensional beings protocols. Because so you basically VFD your opponent. Go. Yeah, Mud Dragon can also make a Dragoon in VW with the same 2 monsters. Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. Who's better for the deck because you want the cards in hand? Yeah. Any card that would bolster Satellar Knight to combat the Burning Abyss should all meta. Satellar Knight can Stellar Diamond. Yeah. Combo blesses the Dante is Bay. Dante is Bay. I will not argue with that. Dante is Bay, but like Raphael though. Actually thinking of making a Zark Eldritch deck now. Ugh, 2 great villains that work terribly together. I don't mean mechanics-wise. They would just bicker all the time. Separating mages from extra-dimensional beings protocols because, Dante from Devil May Cry? It's time to play Burning Abyss featuring Dante from the game Devil May Cry. Excuse me, I need to go find the part of the handbook that details the separating mages from extra-dimensional beings protocols. Demon from another dimension. Oh, yeah. Not Alistair pretty, but still. No, absolutely. DMC is better than Bernie. You take that back, Jeremiah. You son of a gun. Traveler Dante has Devil May Cry Dante beaten every category, including defense points. I need to go find the part of the handbook that details the separating mages from extra-dimensional beings protocols. Before the judges find out, I'm not entirely sure the melding of flesh and spirit like this is tournament legal. There we go. Okay, let's read all this and see how it goes. Okay. These 3 cards, let's put cards here. These 3 cards form what I would call the essential core of any main deck Invoked engine. Now let's go over the fusions that you'll be calling forth. And what better place to start with than a PSA on proper invocation protocol, Invoked Caliga. They're a level 4 Dark Beast monster that also has 1000 attack and 1800 defense, so wonder where they got that stat spread, which requires Alistair and a Dark monster as fusion material. While on the field, each player can only attack with 1 monster during each battle phase, and if a player's monster effect attempts to activate, none of that player's other monsters can activate their effects for the rest of the turn while Caliga is face up on the field. This monster has a lot of parallels with El Shaddai Winda, acting as a monster floodgate for player actions, and while it lacks the Shadow-Cursed spellcaster's effect destruction immunity, blocking attacks and monster effects is like 90% of what duelists do. So it's gonna be a big problem for anyone you throw this against. So if you can bolster them with some I don't like that phrasing actually. Let's go and cut that line right there. There we go. of what duelists do. So if you can bolster them with some kind of protection effect, this can clog up any deck that isn't Altergeist for a long, long while. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go find the part of the handbook that details the separating mages from extra-dimensional beings protocols before the judges find out. I'm not entirely sure the melding of flesh and spirit like this is tournament legal. Oh, dang, let's put meld. Okay, cool. All right, I think that's a solid paragraph. Is there anything that I'm missing from all that? Okay, so while we're getting the feedback on that one, it is 11, so I'm going to call the stream here. Thank you, everyone who decided to stop by. I'm glad everyone had fun. Since we didn't finish, I think we'll go ahead and continue this next week. We'll go ahead and try to get through as much more as possible. Oh, I gotta go. Got work tonight. Take care and good luck. Also, you said entire, not entirely. Entire leisure. Okay. Monster effect is what 90% of what duels do. Unless you pay Paleozoics fixed it. Okay. Well, no, Paleozoics is what the other 90% is. The other 10% is. I'm going to get that fixed. Okay, so yeah, thank you all very much for stopping by. I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad all of you did too. Make sure to check the description. I am looking to get a piece of content released every weekday for the next few weeks. I don't know how things are going to go past November, but there's going to be some mix of shorts, progression polls, that kind of stuff. I wish it was more of a reference to Kaliga being Alistair, but it could get too forced. I don't know. Yeah, because like there's a lot of monsters that end up being Alistair, so I think a little bit of like reference at the beginning, and then we bring it up again when we talk about Algetes. There'll be a lot of things we can do to like kind of wrap all of that together and bring it up as it progresses. But yeah, so I hope you'll look forward to it. If you would like to, well, of course, once again, regardless of anything else that I say, you watching what I do and you liking and you subscribing and showing up to the streams is the base of the support that I need to keep all of this going. So thank you so much for enjoying your time with me. If you are able to, I'd appreciate it if you could check the description. If you want any of the emotes that we have available, definitely check out the YouTube membership. That also gets you access to my schedule for the next month, which you can see right now. It is posted now. And if you want to help vote for explained videos or see my videos early, check out my Patreon. Every tier has access to the Discord where I post them, and Monday's video is going to be going up at the latest tomorrow. So if you want to see Monday's episode now, I definitely recommend joining the Patreon right now. And double checking. Your was good. You and NovaYugioh got solid chemistry. I'm glad. I worry when I'm like playing off of someone that I suck at that. So I'm glad people enjoy our bouncing off of each other, which is great because I love NovaYugioh. They're really fun to play with. General things are using Dueling Book for the progression polls duels. Yeah, we're using Dueling Book. New isekai. That time I, Alistair, invoked a demon until I was one. That could be a good title. Okay, that's all of my shilling. Also, make sure to check the Discord, which is also in the description. If you liked everyone in chat right now, definitely join the Discord, because I try to maintain the Discord to be about the exact same way. We try to be chill, we hang out, we make silly jokes, all that kind of stuff. So I look forward to hanging out with you next week. I look forward to getting some videos for you. Gotta watch Trains Explained. There you go. Now you got... I'm releasing you to go watch more of my content. But yeah, thank you all very much for stopping by, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.